Live from the lavatory. Welcome to the Close Traffic Podcast, an aviation and flight simulation show. Welcome aboard.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Close Traffic Podcast, an aviation and flight simulation show. I'm Johnny, and we're fully stacked today, guys. So got the full team here. There we go, man. Got the producer in, and no one's on PTO today. So, again, welcome to the Close Traffic Podcast. And just want to go ahead. I'm not worried about my controller because we all know my controller, right? I want to go ahead and open up the door for our good friend, Colin from TFDI Designs. Colin, say hello to the audience, my friend.
Oh, the urge to do the programmer "Hello World" as my opening line is very strong. How are you guys?
I fight it every time. Fight it every time, but cool, man. Glad to have you on the show, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, we got the rest of the CTP crew here. Mike, Charlie, say hello to people.
What's up, people? What's going on, man? Good to see you guys. It's
well played, sir.
Hence
the
title, man. It feels like it's been a heck of a year already. We're only 2 weeks,
right?
In,
right.
We're definitely
seriously,
going to
get there. It feels like 2 months.
It's only 2 weeks.
Yeah, man. It's nuts.
I don't know. I tell you, recently it feels like life's moving really, really fast and really slow at the same time. Like I think about how long it's actually been. It's only been a couple of weeks, but it feels like I've done 6 months worth of things in the last 6
Yes.
I think that is the best way to describe it. Moving fast and slow all at the same time. It's nuts.
Absolutely. Yeah, Charlie, man, say hello to people, man. Been in the background. I think you're like hidden in between the behind the chat there. I need to move that, guys.
Man, that's cool, man. Nobody wants to see my ugly face.
Mike, it's your fault, bro, because you was like, hey, yeah, let's try it. Whatever, man.
Nobody wants to see this anyway.
On Charlie's face.
Exactly. Yeah, man, say hello to people, brother.
What's up? Glad to be back, man.
Too cool, man. Well, as always, guys, lots to talk about. And as everyone has alluded to, there's been a lot going on here in the past couple of weeks or so, bringing into the new year. I think first and foremost, in terms of big releases, I know kind of going into 2024, did we already touch on the PMDG 737, Mike?
We did with XP and Leo.
Yep, sure did.
Remember,
man.
Leo had to bring out the caution tape.
Oh, sure did. Yeah, we're still clearing all that out as we speak. So, that's definitely an interesting show. But as far as goings on, I think probably one of the biggest things for here as of late has been the release of the. I was hoping you were gonna give me a drum roll, Mike, but since you're not, never mind.
You were trying to set me up.
Yeah, I was trying to set you up, man, but totally ruined it. That's okay though. But
I'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, catch me on the next one. So my and Charlie's favorite. We're not worried about Mike, but the TFDI Design MD-11 finally released for 2024, and as well as an update for 2020 also. Yes. And I have to say, it hit all the marks for me.
I like the applause effect. That's
yes. Which shout out to Colin for taking time out of his day to hang out with us for a bit. I kind of want to pivot to you, Colin. I know early on, there's an expectation of perhaps bringing the 2024 version out a little sooner than than you guys ended up dropping it. Can you touch on perhaps some of the challenges you guys ran into throughout the process and what kind of brought the timeline to now?
So 2024 does have its own set of intricacies and things that slowed us down, but that was, I would say, actually less of the total time. Now there was a good chunk of time dedicated to that, but it was sort of one of those things where we knew what we promised on day one, and we still had that vision, and the vision had expanded because 2024 did kind of show everybody what you could do. Now you've got this walk around thing, you've got these new effects, you've got, we've kind of moved from just the cockpit to the whole airplane being super immersive. So we had that, but I think one of the things that slowed us down, and I don't even like to use that phrase because it's not like we ever just sat back and took a break. It was full speed. It was that we didn't want to half-ass anything. And we would say, okay, like engine windmilling. This is actually a perfect example of why some of this stuff took so long. So we were probably maybe a month and a half out so this is probably November, I want to say, around Christmas time. And one of our QA guys goes, hey, we don't have any engine windmilling. And I'm thinking, okay, how hard can this be? It's pretty much the blade spins when it's not actually running. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that turns into, all right, we need to have it spin, but then it should smoothly transition. So now we have to have state management to detect if it's stopped and spin it like up to speed slowly, or if the wind changes speed, then I got to do it backward the other way. Okay, cool. Except then the sound only works when it's going forward because it's a negative N1 going backward, and we have 3 iterations for that. Okay, but then now the sound is too loud on one side, but not loud enough on the other. But then when the doors open, it's the right volume. And then, of course, the first build broke the FADEC because we had a non-zero N1. Like the windmilling interfered with the FADEC. And a lot of these things, we would start with a cool idea or something that seemed minor, but then we didn't want to rush it again. That's kind of how we got here to begin with. So some of those builds, the brakes, I think we fixed the brake heating rate, and there's still a report for it now, but I think we fixed or adjusted the brake heating rate on 4 updates back to back during the QA.
Wow.
So I think that was a lot of it, us wanting to really get it right. And of course, 2024, some of the documentation is a little lacking.
Is it now?
Yeah, we
Surely not.
especially like the career mode stuff. Oh my God, we were sitting there and their documentation explains, okay, if you want to have everybody sit in the plane, it's like a seat node. You make a seat node. Okay, I copied from the SDK. I go in the sim and it says we have 638 seats or whatever it is. And I'm like, well, it's a big plane, but not that big. So that's not right.
We're not talking about Noah's Ark here.
Yeah, right. And I'm looking at it, and of course, I'm looking in the file, and I had search for seat, and I see that it is not there that many times. It's like 319 because we have them packed in like sardines in our cabin. So it took us looking at like the broken down version of some of the default stuff to realize that there's seat node and then there's sit node. And if you have an interactive seat object, that creates a sit node and the seat. If you just have a sit node, that's just the one. And they're used like interchangeably in the documentation. Once you know that, you look at the documentation and go, oh, that makes total sense. Now I get it. But coming into it for the first time, not knowing this, that wasted hours and hours. And it was just text. It was just a couple of lines of text. But that sort of experience has happened with the model. It's happened with some of the sound stuff. It's happened with, we had the cause alerts. Just the brakes alert was a different volume. Everything else was fine. Just that one, for whatever reason. And we went through a couple of iterations on that, trying to figure out why. And it was like the built-in sim reverb effect changed just that sound file for some reason.
Wow. And
I'm not shocked, man. Look at just the user level settings for everything in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. There's 1,000 things. If you just type the word throttle, right? How many different things come up? So I'm not surprised that they, at the dev level, you guys encounter stuff like that too.
And there's been a couple of times we've even had to send them things because we'll find mistakes or say, hey, this just doesn't work as documented. And we send it. And we actually have a bug open with Asobo right now. It's the reason the freighter cabin is a little lower poly in 24. A single pixel of the cabin is on screen. The whole sim CTDs.
Whoa. Wow.
I guess they figured out it's a bug in the ray traced shadows. So now we have an issue open with them, but that things like that slowed us down throughout the process too. Because for some reason, we consistently seem to do things differently than everybody else, for better or for worse. And we keep finding these sort of uncharted paths that still leave some room for improvement on the sim side.
Wow, you guys are breaking the mold though, Colin. So I mean, I'm not mad at you at that, my friend. But it's funny though, like you're walking us through the process, right? And consumer level Johnny here, all I'm worried about is like, man, it's been forever, man. I sure would like to have an MD11. So you get on the chat. It's like, when's the MD11? And I know you guys. I know you guys see the posts, you see the forums on AbSim, you see all this feedback, like what are some of the conversations that are happening in the background when you have like, the umpteenth guy like asking like, man, when's this thing going to be out? And knowing on the back end, you guys are, dealing with all these challenges.
But we've made the mistake in the past of trying to estimate. I mean, everybody knows the 60 days thing. What did I said 60 days in like July. Obviously that didn't happen. We've learned pretty consistently that estimates just aren't going to happen. What we've switched to trying to do instead is when we see those, we try to explain why we can't give you an estimate. That's kind of been the answer. Because to me, I see the frustration I see as people being interested. I understand where they're coming from. If they didn't care, they wouldn't be frustrated that it wasn't coming out if they didn't care.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I see that frustration, although not always, it's fair a lot of the time to be frustrated, but I see it as a form of interest. And I try to help explain to them, look, I know it's frustrating, but that's because we want to do it right too. I want to fly this thing myself and enjoy it. I don't want to rush it, but it's the answer internally has kind of become like, without trying to be too flippant, like it's done when it's done. Obviously we have targets, but a couple of times I even remember saying, I think verbatim in the art meetings, we're this far. I'm not going to cut it off at 99%.
Yep.
That's really been the shift for us is we don't even internally, our project management has changed to not revolve around time. And we're starting to work on planning estimate and complexity instead of timelines.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Smart.
ETOPS 1206. Thanks for the question, my friend. He actually posed a question here. Do you know if Service Update 5 has some updates that will help your dev process and the plane in general?
I would have to dig into the changelog. We have been so just knee deep in working with the customers on the existing sims right now. There is a possibility that it does have improvements because they said we are waiting on a couple of things from them. So it is possible, but I can't comment definitively now.
Absolutely. Yeah, truth be told, guys, that maybe I'm a little bit behind, man. I hadn't even looked at SU5. I'm sorry. There's been so much heat dropping here lately, guys. Like, I just hadn't had time. I'm good. Your boy's good right now. I got my my MD11, man. Your boy's good.
Yeah, no, it's in a solid place. I think the popular commentary out there is this is what 2024 should have been when it first came out.
When it dropped. Exactly.
I think it's in a solid place.
SU4 made it flyable for me.
Yeah.
My performance was just not adequate before, and it wasn't enjoyable. And then SU4 came out, frame rates got a lot better, and it seemed to be a lot more stable. Like the first couple of versions, I could barely run it before it would just eventually stutter and die.
Yep.
Now I'm actually enjoying 2024 flying, which is cool. Only a year and a half late, but
exactly halfway through the service life of 2024.
Yeah, and that's weird, y'all, because it seemed like it was the same thing for 2020, and here we are, like literally like a year in, and we're just now starting to get the aircraft we've been wanting like a year ago. And just because it seems like, and maybe and Colin, maybe you can keep me honest on here. It seems like with the Sobo constantly dropping these updates, it's kind of like you guys are trying to hit a moving target as it relates to compatibility and all of that.
It's one of the reasons I'm kind of glad that we focused more on 2020 for the first like 6 to 8 months that 24 existed, because at one point the interactions on our plane with no effort from us went from working to not working to working to not working to working again, just with their sim updates. We touched nothing. And this happened entirely on its own within the sim. So there was there was definitely a bit of a moving target. Now it seems like it's been relatively, knock on wood, relatively stable now for some time. But in the beginning, yeah, it was definitely a moving target. And I've heard from friends that work on this kind of stuff too, that there are certain things that they know they basically every update are going to roll a dice and see if it breaks the same thing, because they find that there's again those small tweaks and improvements that maybe are for the better, but are not without effort from everybody trying to make aircraft.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that, again, from a consumer level, sometimes it's, easy for us to forget that, and again, me putting the old guy hat on was, I guess I am an old guy, but all these years ago, like for example, you had P3D and you had FXX, and that iteration kind of stayed the same for like a year, or more. Like you didn't really get the frequency of updates that you do now. So, in my mind, it seemed as if it was a little easier for, developers to get a stable build of, whatever add-on it was, and, you're good. And so now it's like, add-on drops, SU 4 point blah 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 drops, and then boom, we're back at square one. Nothing works. Exactly. People are ticked and we're all upset, and it's like it's not there, and it's because even I work in the healthcare industry, but software, and it's like, I should know that, but even when I'm, at my desk consuming flights and products, I forget. I'm like, I broke, I'm on the chat with Charlie and and Mike, and it's just like it's, sometimes it's, all right, it's a moving target, things are happening, this and that and the other. But I agree with you guys. I think SU4 kind of put us all in a in a good place to where the experience is comfortable, and it's flyable. Have you guys have any of you guys used DLSS 4.5 yet? I know I did. Charlie, did you?
Oh yeah, it's running right. Well, it's not right now, but yeah, it's on my system.
Have you used it with VR, Charlie?
Yep.
How is it with VR?
Yeah, man, I thought it wasn't working.
It is for me. Like the ghosting is completely gone. Screens are tack clear.
Really?
It's kind of finicky though, because you got to make sure you're running that latest preset, which is what M, I believe.
Oh, maybe I think that's what I didn't do. Yeah, my screen is still ghosting.
Well, and there's some videos
to get it right.
Yeah, and there's some videos out there, like if you bring up the dev mode in your FPS counter, how you got that little millisecond thing under it.
Yeah.
Like if it goes over, say 16.6 to 17, you're going to get ghosting regardless. So it's kind of, it's a lot of tweaking. We'll say it that way. But if you get it right, man, it's as clear as TAA. Like it's incredible.
Interesting. There was a question in there about the combi version. You guys looking into that for the MD? No.
Probably not.
Is it combi or combi, Mike? I'm sorry.
Combi. Yeah.
I've always said combi. Although
tomato.
Tomato. Yeah. I was being petty. Sorry, y'all. I had to.
Normally I'm a stickler for stuff like that. I mean, man, we get like TDFI and stuff, and I'm like, nope, try again.
Guilty.
A lot of people are. If I could do it again, I don't know if I would have gone with an acronym a second time, but too much momentum to make that kind of change now.
Exactly.
Yes. I used to do it earlier on, like way back in the P3D days. I just say TIFD. That helps.
Yeah. We used to joke about if I ever get a chance to open a restaurant or a bar or something someday, call it Tifties.
You should. That would be awesome. It's got nothing but MD themes, and I like it.
An aviation. Okay, so I forget where it is. I want to say it's somewhere in like it's either Nashville or where was Expo? Not last year, not Rhode Island. Where was it before that?
Oh, where was it? Houston?
Was it Vegas?
Yeah,
I think.
Oh, sorry, Vegas.
Yeah, sorry.
One of the two. I know because when we went to drop some of our guys off, there was an aviation themed little like lunch. Like I don't think it served alcohol given its proximity to the airport, but that kind of like cafe lunch bar kind of thing. and it was all aviation themed. A bunch of like, posters with aviation history on the wall, like kind of some memorabilia up hanging around. And it was kind of cool. It made me think of that, like an aviation themed eatery, because that does exist. And I want to say it's Houston.
It probably is, because I doubt it's Vegas.
Probably.
Most likely Houston.
No, there wasn't enough slot machines to be Vegas.
Oh, crap. Go and hit up Expo and roll. Did you go to Vegas, Mike?
I did.
For the Expo, yeah. Did you hit up any of the slot? Isn't that what they do when they go to Vegas? They roll.
What's that, man? What's that? No,
I don't know. You roll that. I don't know what casinos are like. I don't know.
Nah, man. I buy the shake weight.
Like they shake it, and
I bypassed all that, man. I didn't want to get myself in trouble. I wouldn't have enough. I wouldn't have enough money to put.
Gamble.
Exactly.
That's true.
I wouldn't have enough money to pay signature for the tie down. They would have kept the plane there.
Oh man, yeah, because they're.
I'll put my own gas.
No, man, you got the landing fees, bro.
The landing fees were
man.
That was insane.
You got landing
and stuff like
man.
that. I'm not as jealous about flying myself when I start thinking about landing fees and fuel and all that. Like, yeah, maybe JetBlue's not that bad.
You're
Don't do it often, so.
Oh man, but yeah, so that's. I mean, just my initial experiences since of course, Mike, Mike's not much of a cargo guy, so he didn't partake in the MD-isms, but I know myself and Charlie did.
Version. I still I'm not a cargo guy, but I can appreciate a great plane. It's a great plane.
Yeah.
I'm not a cargo guy either.
Yeah, really?
Nope. I've done a grand total of like 4 cargo flights my entire flight sim career, and they were pretty much all to test the MD.
Really?
Yeah, that's wild.
It's about me too. Probably 4 ever. And yep.
Dang, Charlie. So I guess we're split, man.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah. Johnny did 4 today.
4 today, bro. My hours. I'm already up for my C check, man.
But like they new engines already.
But no, man. I mean, first impressions. I mean, for me, the performance is absolutely amazing. Like legit, like amazing. That was even before DLSS. The VR experience, since I'm using virtual desktop. It's been solid as well. I would say probably the only issue I've ran into was the issue where the transitions for the Sitting Stars didn't pop in, but I checked the Discord and looks as if you drop the JSON, the layout.json file on the layout generator or whatever, fixed it for me.
That shouldn't be necessary anymore. That was just the first couple of days.
Okay.
We back in the 2020 days, it really didn't. The whole layout JSON thing didn't really matter.
Right.
Navigraph could bulldoze because we used the built-in package data. They could do whatever they want. They could bulldoze that and it would load fine. 2024. So this is kind of the weird stuff with 2020, right? Perfect example. 24. It will load only up until whatever the length that it specified in the layout JSON is. So it won't say it's invalid. It'll attempt to load, and then let's say the SID or star you want is past that point, it just won't load that one particular procedure, but everything else will seem valid.
Wow.
So it creates this kind of weird broken nav data where it looks right at first, but it isn't. But now we've worked with them to move it.
That's crazy. I was kidding.
now it's in a different directory where they don't have to do that anymore, and you can load it and update it, and there's no extra steps. Was within the last 3 days they did that, I think. So that was midweek.
Oh wow. Yeah. Aside from that, it's been an amazing experience for me. What about you, Charlie? Well, you had the collector's Uber edition, so and you had that thing forever.
I've been flying this thing forever, man. So it's like, I'm glad y'all are all excited, but I've kind of been flying it.
So what have your thoughts been, Charlie? What have you been thinking about it?
Man, it's awesome. The performance is definitely better for me. Now, I've had some system issues the past couple of months trying to work through that, but I took a little flight today and it's just solid. I mean, that's all I know how to say. To me, it's one of the better performing aircraft in the sim for me in my system.
I mean, that's what we want. It's a complex plane. Like I'm never.
It is
to run like a Cessna. You're never going to get that. But I'll give credit to Asobo. the engine handles insanely complex geometry really, really well.
True. That's
Most
true. Yeah. I mean to cut you off, Colin, but y'all remember back in like the early like FXX days or
oh yeah,
FR, man, you had something complex.
The cockpit alone, I think, on the MD is more polys than the entire 717 was inside and out.
Oh wow.
We're in the millions. I think we're in
crazy.
millions of triangles now just on the interior. And the engine in 2020 does a much better job of not rendering things that are out of sight. And even in 24, as much as the LODs are kind of a thumbtack in your shoe for developers, which they are, getting them right means that you can do a much better job of optimizing. And we didn't do an incredible job with the LODs. We did do them, but you can subdivide them even further and really take full advantage of that. And as that starts to be more common, I think we'll be able to see more and more complicated stuff running on lesser hardware.
Wow.
I got to give him credit. You know, I can't bag on the sim the whole time I'm here.
That's true. No, it's and I think myself and the team, we give Sub a hard time, but I mean, I've said before, and those of you who listen to the show, you guys know, I mean, it's just been an amazing time. I mean, the aircraft look absolutely amazing. I was flying into Boston last night. And they're getting kind of funky weather there, and just
night shots,
coming out of the club. Oh,
incredible! The night shots in this sim,
incredible. We give the platforms a lot of grief, right? But you definitely, as you mentioned, Colin, you definitely got to give credit where credit is due. So I know you guys are just coming off this just a crazy release. Did it meet? Like, what were your expectations on the release? Did you guys really think your old servers were going to get slammed like they did, or was like, we should be good? And
sort of yes and no. So since the first release, we've overhauled our entire infrastructure because that obviously didn't work. So we changed how we do our downloads, we changed how we do our main site and everything, and it held up a lot better than it did initially. I think now we kind of know what we're up against and we have a workflow. Our Fabio kind of gave me a hard time about this. He's like, why did you have to say a time? He's like, it could have just been sometime today and we don't have this problem. I was like, but where's the fun in that? Where's the theater in just dropping it silently and going, oh, here you go. There's no fun in that. I don't know. I think back to the old like NGX launch party that happened, like the team speaks that way back in the day. Everybody was kind of gathered and they're waiting to get
everybody was hype.
Yeah, I think that's fun. I mean, and I see that maybe that's like from the gaming industry. I don't know, maybe it's more in there, but I like the launch parties and the hype and that kind of thing. So I guess you can kind of blame me for the queue on the website, but
no, I'm just glad I'm just glad you guys have the queue, because I'm gonna tell you what happens with some developers. They have none of that. So they say, hey, we're dropping it at I don't know 2200 Zulu. Good luck. May the odds forever be in your favor. And it's pure pandemonium.
Chaos.
And it's just, oh my gosh, your server is just like, nah, dude, I'm good. You get like a Cloudflare error or whatever. It's just crazy. So the fact that you guys did the queue, I'm good with that. It's just like a sneaker release. Like, you got like a bit sneaker dropping. And Mike, you got like sneaker dropping or something.
Like this morning.
Yeah. Flight going for a flight.
Yes, sir.
But we'll talk after the show. We'll talk. So JD Sports, same thing. You go in there, you get in the queue. Good to go. But it's just, I guess it really stirs up folks' emotions when you jump in there for that release and it's just like, you get like an error or you get something like
blank
that.
page or
right. So the queue, I was totally good with that. Sorry, I'm gonna cut you off again.
But that's honestly great feedback, because like of course the preferred experience is everybody just gets it right away, but the math alone doesn't support that any one machine. So I mean, I can tell you quickly, for any of the technically minded people, we did in the first, I think 12 hours, we did 15 terabytes of download traffic.
Gosh.
Wow.
So it's that, and that was only through our CDN. And now that's liveries and the main plane and everything. But
sure,
that gives you an idea of the volume of traffic. We at one point, the queue was 500 or 600 people long. So I was like, there is no way we can handle all. No one server that a company our size can afford is going to be able to handle that much traffic at the same instant. There's no way.
Yeah.
Man, we're calling Google like, hey man, we need to borrow.
Oh my god! So no, we ended up we were going to try to use AWS for the first release, and the math we calculated based on how much traffic we thought it would be, because the collector's edition kind of gave us an idea because we sold 1,000 in like 12 hours. So like, okay, we know we're good for at least 1,000.
Right.
And we did the math, and it would have come out to like $6,000 just for bandwidth.
Man, no.
I was like, there is no way I'm doing that.
Y'all about to get this. We're about to drop this link.
I'll mail it to you. I'll mail you a flash drive.
Hey, we're about to get people. Hey, we're about to burn these CDs. Hey, yo.
No, I'm really. We found this other CDN provider, and I'm really grateful that we did, because they might have their quirks like everything does, but I think the bandwidth for the other day cost us $150, and like for again $5,000 versus $150, like that to me, I was like, that is reasonable. What's more than reasonable for the amount of traffic we did. But again, that's only downloads. The main server still has to do its thing, and there's then what we didn't want was people's cards getting charged, and then the page breaks, and now we have your money, but you don't have your product, because that's just not a good look for anybody. So like the queue thing also solved a lot of that. I'd say we had very, very few issues like that, and that was in my mind, that's a success. People got what for the 99.9% of people got what they paid for on time the first time, and that 0.1% got resolved by support quickly. So even if the queue has its thing, it's a delay, it might have been an all-day thing, but I'd call that a success.
Absolutely. And definitely shout out to your support team, Colin, because I was all in the Discords, bro. I was all in y'all's DMs, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was like, we know Colin. I'm like, man, we just check, see how the release is going. Yeah, you have people hella issues, but to your point, like no one, because that's happened on a release. I we ain't gonna bring them in, but it's happened where people have gotten charged and folks hadn't got their product. So you know what I'm saying? It's just it puts you in a weird position.
We all hate that, man.
It puts you in a weird position. But not one time did I see where like, hey, y'all took $80, I didn't see that. Support was very responsive. You guys were on it. Giving, because you guys have to understand, and this is just come again. I'm gonna put the old guy hat on. Charlie, you need to put your hat on too, bro, because I'm up here, what I'm saying. Hey, all right, cool. I ain't alone. All right. The MD-11 is a very, very iconic aircraft. Hey, Tom Hanks, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it, guys. You know what I'm saying? Castaway, very iconic aircraft.
Was that MD-11?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. Yep, sure was. FedEx.
Wilson,
all that, bro. Yeah, man. So I mean, it pulls the strings for a lot of people. So I knew this was going to fly. I don't know if y'all did, but I'm like, man, it's gonna fly. And so, to say all that, and to really put it in perspective that this is going to be just absolutely a massive release. I would say you guys handled the release better than some of the AAA, I guess you want to call them AAA developers that are out there. So I mean, shout out to the TFDI team. Please send them my regards. They did an amazing job. Can I get a can I get a round of applause for the TFDI?
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to take the moment while I got the stage here to thank them, our support guys, our community moderators, some of the guys from they really carried us. While I was knee deep in code and trying to respond to things like that, it would have been way too much for even a couple of us to handle. It takes a village to handle something like this properly and make sure everybody feels like their voice is being heard. And we couldn't have done it without the team that we have there, and that community that we have formed between our support team and the community mods and everybody else it was irreplaceable.
It's awesome.
Part of this. Absolutely.
Love to see it, man. Especially in this community. definitely.
For sure. Definitely didn't go unnoticed. No, a shout out to our comment from our friend that November 728 Delta Alpha. You're spot on. Yes, it was an A300 on Castaway.
Crash scene was MD-11.
But you got the crash scene. The crash scene was the MD-11. I love it. I love that you caught that though. That's awesome because I do love my A300s as well. But yeah, it's just an iconic aircraft, and I love that you guys took on aircraft that, I'm should I say it? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I am Airbus and Boeing 737 out.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. There you go. All right.
Okay.
So, yep.
Cry me a river.
I am Airbus. Let me, Mike. I'm saying it. Airbus and Boeing 737 out. And I love that. We have developers like TFDI, and others who take on the challenge of developing an aircraft outside of the normal flight sim portfolio, right? And it. You can tell the passion shows in the product, and not the not to kind of blow you guys up or anything, but like I followed y'all for years, loved y'all 717, but love 724. But
get me started, man.
It's only been a week.
Yeah,
it's only been a week.
Hey, y'all can't drop heat like that, Colin, and not
expect us to walk.
Oh, I know. I would be more offended if people weren't asking us.
Exactly. But yeah, all in all, thoroughly impressed with the product. Looking forward to the future development, and whatever else you guys had to offer. But I guess one more thing I really want to touch on as well in terms of the release. I remember we had John like a while back, and I remember a while back, and I was so looking forward to this show here. When you mentioned how you were going to structure as far as the tiers of the MD-11 with the collector's edition and things of that nature. One thing I wanted to touch on, I absolutely love the fact that for the pre-order and the early adopters of the MD-11, you guys only charge the price of a cup of coffee to I'm going to and say it. A legit cup of coffee. Yes, tread carefully, Colin, but I'm a full send it, bro. A legit cup of coffee. I paid $5, and I got the extended edition, and I got the other edition as well because I think I pre-ordered the other one or whatnot.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah. So, what were your guys' thought process behind that in terms of determining what made sense as it relates to pricing?
So I want to lead off with, and this is going to sound like a very PR answer, but it's the truth. I want to lead off with that we don't really base our pricing off of what others base it on. We had no idea what PMDG was going to charge, or the whole. Of course, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. Like I know the whole cup of coffee thing. I've seen it. I've seen all kinds.
Man, there's full liveries out there now.
Yeah,
whole meme liveries, bro.
But that's the thing that I find interesting is that we had no idea what they were going to charge, and our pricing model had nothing to do with what they or anybody else charges. I mean, for us, the total package is now $90 if you get it new today, which is the largest. That's the highest we've ever charged for anything, and it's. Initially, back when we did the 717, the prices were starting to climb in the industry. It was getting, the $80, $90, $100, $120 add-ons.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at the time we kind of sat down and said, okay, would I want to pay $120 for anything really in the sim? And to us, the answer was no, because the way we saw it is, AAA gaming at that industry, or at that time in the industry, was $60, and that felt like a fair price. Now, granted, they're selling tens of millions of copies. We don't, but the idea was that I wanted to make it fair. And we did the same thing with the pricing for this. At some point a couple of months ago, we sat down and Well, at the rate things are going, that might be the future we live in.
That is true.
Not far off, tops. Not
That's a
far
whole
off.
different conversation. But no, so I want to say maybe 3 or 4 months ago, we sat down. I think it was one of the art meetings, because obviously they did a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of both the update and the 2024 stuff. There were code things and whatnot, but they were less in scope. So I wanted to involve the art team in the decision-making process for what we felt was fair. And the entire discussion, we weren't even sure if we were going to charge at all at first, but the cost had gotten so extreme because we basically, we did remodel the entire exterior and cabin. And then, the code had received months and months of work. The flight dynamics received improvements, the sound received improvements, and then, of course, all the 24 stuff on top of that. So it was a way for us to say, look, we don't want to charge people more than is fair, but we also need to be able to afford to continue paying our staff.
Exactly. And that's respectable.
It was what's fair, and what would you be willing to pay? Like, would you pay, at the time of the meetings, like, would you pay $5 for this? Do we feel that's an appropriate amount of money? And we all kind of collectively agreed that, yeah, that makes the most sense. And then, of course, the option, if you don't want 24, you can keep it in 2020, and that was no additional cost, because that's what we promised. So that kind of gave us an opportunity to say, look, we're not trying to squeeze our customers for every dollar we can get. We just, as things move on, important that we can afford to continue to do it, and that it's worthwhile for us to do. Not that everything is about money, but I can't print it either.
No.
That's a good point.
We have absolutely
a few of our guys are full time with us, so it's more important now than ever to make sure that we do what's fair for the customers and for us. But that was the entire discussion that happened. It had nothing to do with anything other than that. And we look at the market as a whole and say, okay, well, what we consider to be AAA products are charging between 60 and 80 USD. So, I at this point would consider our product in that AAA, tier. So we looked at it and went, okay, well, we're going to charge in that AAA price point, and then the $5 to bring it to 24, push it at 75. We increased the base price, so because you don't have to upgrade now if you buy it. Yeah. But we did our best to make it fair. Again, it all comes back to that being what's fair, because we ourselves are still flight simmers. That's the biggest thing for us. Yeah. We make stuff for the community that we ourselves are still part of. And I think that makes it easier for us to be in touch with what feels right.
Absolutely. No, man. You're spot on. And again, let's just be clear. First and foremost, and we've said this before on CTP, I love PMDG, been supporting them since I was a wee little lad. Right. And but it did have a lot of people feeling away, and that's not taking anything from the product. Let's just be clear. No, not taking anything away. It was an amazing product. Think, you and Mike, Mike, we had a conversation. Thing runs amazingly. It's a 7. It's one to send a 737.
It's fantastic.
So let's just be clear on that. However, giving the and Colin alluded to as well. Sometimes things change. You might be looking at a particular project at one point, and the scope and or variables change throughout a span of time. And I think what happened is conversation happened at certain periods of time. The status quo changed, which in terms, kind of changed the expectations. And I think there was a disconnect between what the consumer was expecting and what PMDG had put out. And then all of a sudden, boom, you got meme aircraft. Because for someone to take time and to create a livery,
there's some serious motivation behind that.
Yeah, somebody's feeling away.
It's real frustration, man.
Exactly. So, I have no problem, and I think no one who's listening right now has any problem in supporting our developers. Like, the developers is what keeps the industry going. I have been at that point in time where it was just kind of like the doldrums in the flight sim industry. No one was doing nothing because Microsoft pulled out and there was no money in it. So we just flew what we had. You sent what you had. Yeah. And so it's of the utmost importance that we continue to support our developers. So let me just get the PSA out of the way. But again, I think it was just, I think that miscommunication is what kind of really brought all that on. But you know, because I got a lot of comments which was just like, well, it's so much work in there. Absolutely. Absolutely. No one's taking anything away from that. But I think sometimes, and I do it, and I'm the same way. I deal with a lot of projects, at my work. I own my own business, and so I try in my mind to ensure that I'm setting realistic I'm not saying no cup of coffee or none of that shit. You got to be very, very explicit on what you're on the expectations you're setting for the customers, because you have to think, we're all in an age range to where we're making grown up money, but you have to think this might be my 9-year-old son wanting to pick up a 737. This might be my 16-year-old kid my 16-year-old son picking up a 737. $30 might not just be their allowance. There you go. That's all folks are saying, right? But each developer has the utmost privilege and right to determine their own price. But I will say, Colin and the team, like you guys did an amazing, I don't know what kind of research you did, but you guys did an amazing level of research to come up with that, the price, and $90 for all of pretty much every variant of the MD-11 that you're probably going to see right now. That's fair. It's more than fair. I mean, that's what, because like to your point, it was like, I remember what P3D dropped, and it may have been I can forget which developer it was. I don't know, PMDG. But yeah, it may have been PMDG. They had what was it? It was like something for like a $120.
Oh no, man, that was Labs. The 320
was it Labs?
Well,
are you sure?
I promise you, did have triple digits, and I said
that's actually true. They both did.
It was triple digits.
That 777
I remember that, Mike, because I was still working for Masaba, bro, and your boy didn't have it, fam. I ain't lying. Hey, Saab, man, that phone was making all that back then. I'm just telling you.
He said I was getting up trips.
He said,
no, I'll tell you. Like, and again, to your point, the Queen of the Skies too, I bought for the $139 whatever it is, and of course it's a lot of money. Yes. But it was a great product, and it's never been about justifying the price. I don't think it's about, like you said, it's about making it accessible. Because I know when I was 14 or 15, if I went, hey dad, can I have $140 to try this play, he would have looked at me like I was crazy. Yeah, like, yeah, as soon as you go get a job, you can have your $140.
Get out there and mow the lawn, boy.
Yeah. So and
grass
and I think you hit it right on the head. It's about managing expectations, and I think that's where 50% of things go wrong with our industry is people, whether they're, and it's not always putting on the developers, because we have been guilty of this too. Again, I'm not taking shots at anybody, and this is an objective analysis, I think, of what goes wrong a lot of the time. You either by misrepresenting something or by not representing it at all, the consumer ends up with a certain expectation that then if you don't live up to, creates that tension. So even if I never said, oh, we're going to have XYZ, if we didn't say we weren't going to have that either, and in somebody's mind, they've created this product or this release timeline, this price point, whatever it is, that we then don't hit, it's our fault in their mind. And that creates tension. And then it ends up, you can easily fall into that adversarial kind of relationship with people where you're mad at them for holding you to something you didn't say. They're mad at you for not doing what they think you should do. And really it's easier to just say, look, this is exactly what it is. This is where we're coming from. That's part of why we are as transparent as we are, is it eliminates a lot of that. If you're not sure, come ask us. That's what we'd rather you do. We'd rather you ask than disappoint yourself or create tension needlessly.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Absolutely.
Communication is key.
It's key. And speaking of communication, Mike, I wanna let you to kind of lead us into this. But there's been there's been a little, I guess, controversy amongst the industry as relates to one of our content creator A330. mentioned in one of his videos in regards to a developer. Man, you want to touch on that for us?
Yeah, man. I don't know the I don't know the full happenings around that, and maybe folks in the chat do, but apparently there was some commentary from A330 driver. Some of you probably watch his videos regarding the FSS EJets project. And listen, we've talked about that project, at length on this show. At the end of the day, we don't really have a solid EJet in the sim. We all really want one. We're rooting for those folks to succeed to bring us one. But we'll be honest, there's been some points of frustration and a lack of visibility and true transparency as it relates to like what is taking so long. Now, granted, I would say within the last 2 months or so, they've been a little bit more upfront, and we're starting to see some real progress there. But the sim community overall has been a little bit frustrated on sort of the lack of progress, given how long the product's been out. Sort of in this perpetual beta state for the longest time. So I think that has, fueled some of the contention in the community, and particularly some commentary from A330 driver. And then apparently Flight Sim Studio took offense to his commentary. There's sort of some back and forth there, but overall, right, not necessarily wanting to dive into the technicalities around that, but holistically speaking, and Colin, we talked a little bit before the show about this. What is your perspective on, a developer sort of silencing or, censoring, what a flight simmer or a streamer or just a general user of the product says about said product?
I think it's a double-edged sword, because there are certainly times where a customer or a media personality may have an objectively incorrect opinion. It may be based off of a misunderstanding, or maybe they're not being, fair to what it is, or, something's out of proportion. But on the flip side, this is kind of, and I know we talked about this a little before, and I'll say the same quote. So it's, if I would rather somebody complain in my yard than in my neighbor's yard. And if somebody has a problem, if you develop a kind of habit of, positive feedback only, sure, your little bubble is going to be nothing but rainbows and unicorns, and you're going to get all thumbs up all the time. But growth doesn't come from comfort. And I think that's one of the things that holds some of these things back, is there are times when you need to hear, yeah, you didn't quite get that right, because that's how you improve. You think even in terms of like a physical level, if you're into fitness, working out is painful.
Pain is weakness leaving the body.
That's where you grow, though. And I think that's a big thing. But again, it requires both parties to be approaching the situation with the objective being to improve. If somebody comes in and is just pissed off, you did a terrible job, I don't want to hear nothing, you're awful, I want a refund. Okay, that isn't productive. Yeah, we tend to shut stuff like that down, because it's obvious that no amount of reasonable discourse is going to get you to a resolution, or even anything actionable in some cases.
Exactly.
But if somebody comes in and goes, oh, you did good, but this, and this is wrong, and I don't like this, we're going to look at that. And even if maybe we can't fix all those things, if we take one thing out of that and we're able to improve the product, they're happier. It's a better product. Everybody benefits there in some way. And it tells people we do care. Because again, we can't, not everything that somebody says is going to be something a developer can fix. Maybe it's cost, might be project assignments, might be technical limits. So that's not realistic either. But no, I think in general, censorship is kind of a bad thing. We grow from disagreeing with people we can have a respectful conversation with.
Yeah. And I think part of the rub too is, if I recall, around that specific scenario, is that there is some feelings of him being a little bit biased towards other developers like PMDG, when there are flaws and issues on that side, but never really calls it out. To your point, it's everything is all roses and green on this side, but quick to point out the flaws of others that they may not necessarily be directly affiliated or associated with. So I think the community is just looking for some fairness, right? So if you're going to be someone that calls yourself a streamer, or put yourself and your product out there to adequately review things, then you should probably show a little bit of fairness across the board. And I think that's where some folks have taken exception to it. ETOPS, sorry, Johnny. ETOPS, good call out. Man, the contrast between 727 and AES without any communication is deafening. So it's not their ability to do the product, but maybe priority or complexity that we don't know. And I think, again, in recent time, they have, shed some light or a little bit more transparent about the difficulties and the complexity that they're running into. And I think that's all the community wanted from the jump, instead of telling us or, we just talked, for 50 minutes about transparency. So instead of leaving this product in this perpetual beta state and telling us it's going to get updated, it's going to get updated, it's going to get updated, it would have been a lot better. And I think folks would have understood a bit more if they were transparent from the jump and said, hey, it's
listen, we don't know how to make the
more than we true. Yeah. Charlie's going to tell you
guys,
a bit more.
I got nothing for you.
I was trying to be nicer, but like Charlie said,
I tried to use Gemini and it didn't work. So
Gemini, ChatGPT, they can't give me the code.
It's true, and this stuff isn't easy. Kyle, right? It's not easy. No. So we get it.
I was going to say specifically as the guy that coded the prof, which is basically the MD11's VNav. There's a reason that a lot of developers struggle. I mean, ours isn't perfect either. It will get you where it says it's gonna get you, but there's definitely places for improvement even on ours. And this is now my third iteration of it.
Yeah,
it is definitely but it comes back to the communication. We had this happen to us that we went on a silent streak with the collector's edition for a while. And eventually they were like, look, we would rather you give us something, even if it's not finished, just so we can feel movement and be part of it.
Right.
And because we were trying to get it perfect, and that never happens. There's no such thing.
Yeah. Yep, spot on. Because their 727 is freaking phenomenal.
I've heard nothing but good things. Some of our guys fly it. I've heard it's an incredible product, and I got to try it at Expo, and it was fun to fly.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it was just an absolute blast. So it's just. It's just because you get a lot of folks just everybody's just bagging on F. No, I put my money where my mouth is. We all everybody on the CTP crew owns the EJAD, and the road like
we sure do.
And all we I think at this point all folks are looking for is give us a little transparency. Hey, this is where we're at. This is what we want to do. This is what we can't do at the moment. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, we're good, bro. I'll vertical speed all day long, man. If I can get from point A to point B, been there, done that. I'm good. Your boy's good. What I'm saying? Because half the time you're getting vectored down anyway. So it's
I was gonna say,
you can't sit down there and be nav like a fat cat, bro, just chilling. That's not how it works.
Especially if you're flying on VATSIM. Most of the time, you're getting vectored, you're getting constraints, out there in the real world as well. So I'm not a huge. I think in the Airbus, I probably fly or Airbus, terminology for their VNav logic, but. Any other plane, I'm open to open descent. Any other plane, it's vertical speed for the most part. It's not necessarily that I have an issue with. It's more so I'll give you an example, and again, I'm not trying to bash these guys or beat up on them, but I was going into LaGuardia shooting the whatever that RNAV is into 3-1. That thing, it tried to draw the picture, for the RNAV procedure, on the FD or ND. And I've got to some point on the fix and it just completely crapped itself. I don't know what happened. And, we were just at probably minimums for that procedure. So it was not a good day out there. Not a good time for that to have happened. And I got so frustrated. I haven't flown it since. And that was probably, 6 months ago. So it's stuff like that, right? We're not talking about the basic VNav logic to follow a SID in a star. You can easily find yourself manipulating that the way you need to. But we're talking about approach to minimums. That stuff has to be spot on if you want to fly and simulate, the way that most hardcore simmers do. That stuff has to get fixed. And it sounds like, they're well on their way to that. So that's great. And looking forward to the continued polishing of that product.
Absolutely. And to Fly by Tim's point, I did pick up the experimental edition. Because I'm not gonna lie, your boy, some RJ ops, your boy's here for it, and so I picked it up, and they've made some significant improvements. Not mad at that. And the model has always looked
it's
phenomenal.
Always
phenomenal, man. My boy Marco cooked, So I love the model. I think and then not just to like expound a little bit on what Mike had mentioned. I think there's also something in the terms and conditions that 330 driver brought up as it relates to I guess feedback and things of that nature that certain content creators can put out. And I think that's what drove rub.
That. Okay.
Yeah. But to Colin's point, I don't consume, and it's funny, like we do content creation. I don't consume, and it's not because it's just like your boy just ain't got a whole bunch of time. But when I do consume content creation or content creators, I much rather, have that content creator that's unbiased, gives the developer their flowers when deserved, but at the same time critical when they need to be critical. I love that because in my mind, that truly is what influences my buying decision. And because there are some out there, I'm not gonna call names, but I mean, I'm just, there's some out there. This is flat out amazing, and this is not, be sure to like and subscribe, and then you pick it up, and you're like, bro, this thing is cheeks. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like
landing gear don't even come up,
right, bro? Exactly, man. Like 172 sounds, bro, and like CFM engines. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on,
GTN 750.
Yeah. Exactly, bro. So it's it's things like, so when you're encompassing certain, and like I didn't really get the opportunity to read in terms of conditions, so I can't attest to that. But if one does include things of that, that magnitude in the terms and conditions, and like, what does that leave a content creator? I mean, truthfully, if it was me, it wouldn't be much I could do for you, because I can't be, of course I can give you your flowers, but I can't be critical when I find things. Like, come on, guys. So because I did watch the video, and that seemed as if where he was really, I guess he really felt the way about it.
And to any developers or people who are running brands or listening, there's an other side of this too. Obviously, a lot of this is focused on, as a content creator, having integrity in the content, but also when, as a developer, if people aren't afraid to criticize you, you can trust them when they say it's good too. And now you have a real metric. People have been openly critical of us in the past, and now a video came out recently, which, and I realize this is one person's opinion, but the title of the video was something to the effect of MD11, the best ever created, or something like that. And the fact that to anybody that they would call it that, the best there's ever been, is humbling.
Yeah.
And I know that seeing so many positive things like that means we hit the mark, because people have had no problem being critical when we didn't in the past. So now I can trust that. I can trust we're going in the right direction. And it gives you a metric and kind of way to, to test the waters if you're doing the right thing when you don't censor and shut down that negativity.
That's right.
Spot on. Delta Alpha's development cycle of the MD11 done? Question there for you in the chat.
No, but so here's where we're at. So this week it's pretty much been like full time as always, because we expected it would be, after the user base grew significantly. So we'll have an update next week where we'll kind of round stuff out. It will slow down a lot. We have other things we're working on. There is another aircraft, at least one other aircraft in the queue. There are some things going on behind the scenes that we are working on. And this project started in 2019. So at a certain point, we have to be able to move forward. Now, there are some things, like I said, and ironically, we're talking about the Magenta line and VNAV are basically the two most complicated parts of any commercial airliner. So it's not surprising that, FSS had issues. We had and still have some issues in that area. I want to, in the future, redo that again and port whenever because it works for now. 99% of the time, the MD11 will work exactly the way it's supposed to. You'll get the right Magenta line. You'll get the right prof. There's a couple of weird edge cases. I don't like that there's even edge cases. And at some point, we will overhaul that system for the next product and or products. And my vision is eventually someday a fleet of TFDI products that all have that same level of reliability. So to say that it's done, yes and no. Are we done adding features daily and responding to bug reports all day, every day? Yeah, absolutely. Does that mean that we will never touch it again? No. It doesn't mean that in a couple of months we don't say, hey, we've collected a couple of important, little quality of life snags. Right. Keep it current. And, God knows whatever Flight Sim 2026 or 2028 or whatever is going to be next. I don't know what's going on there, but
they'll announce it soon, I'm sure.
Just because y'all mentioned it, it'll be Monday. It'll be Monday.
Yeah.
I think the window behind me, I think I'm going out it. If I hear
do that.
Flight Sim 2028 announced tomorrow, I'm going to lose it.
I hear you.
But I figure we'll support that. Please don't hold me to this. I'm not promising what it would cost or whatever, but my vision is I've kind of seen the industry change. And can I get on the soapbox for a second?
Of course.
Man, send it, bro. Yeah.
Okay. So this is something I've seen over the last 10 years. If you look at the 717, which was regarded as one of the best in its category at the time. Of course, there were better. There were the $120 ones that did everything. But I think in that $60 price point and from a visual standpoint, we did pretty good for the time period. Now, you look at it compared to the MD-11, and it looks like Minecraft. However, if I don't think that what we're going to see 9 years from now will be as far ahead of today as as far ahead as today is from 9 years ago.
Right.
And I think as a result of that, you're going to see some of these fleets get bigger because I don't know what I would be able to add to the MD-11 outside of it mailing actual cups of coffee to your house when you turn it on in the galley and that kind of stuff, or like the printer that prints to your physical printer and like stuff like that. I don't know what else we could do to enhance the actual in-sim experience. Could we add another couple of buttons like Phoenix style where you can grab and pull every cargo door? Yeah, we could. Not an enormous amount of effort, but not enough to warrant a new product. That wouldn't be a V2. That wouldn't be a new charge. That would just be an update.
Yep.
So, you know what? And of course, I don't know the future, but I struggle to think where we're going to be in terms of fidelity that the current, like something like the MD-11 that is brand new by today's standards and is at the top of its game. Even I'd like to think in 3 or 4 years, it'll still be a pretty solid product, especially if we periodically polish it up over the next couple of years. So
agreed.
I think that's going to change a lot as far as what is on the market.
It's okay.
No. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say the only thing I would also add, to your commentary about it doing what it did at the $60 price point versus what the other products did at the $120 price point in FSX and P3D. You guys also had a lot of stuff in there that those $120 products didn't have. Right. So, one of the biggest ones is the rain effect. I forgot what you guys
True Glass.
True Glass. Yeah,
bro.
Oh,
man.
And
that story that was.
That thing, what you gotta tell us. You probably told us the first time you were on the show, but
I love sharing
the new audience, you gotta share it. But
so
that
arbitrary.
was insane, right? And those products did not have that at the time. So, but yeah, please, you gotta rehash the True Glass story, please.
In short, but and to your point, I appreciate that. And again, I think we've always looked at the gaming industry as sort of an example of what's possible because their flight sim typically lags behind in terms of what the engine can do, what the user experience is, what the price points are. So it's always been kind of unique. I think we've had a unique take on things that we look at mainstream gaming and say, okay, what's normal there? And even in terms of user experience, like we have a big thing about that. And that's even why, for example, our installer doesn't require an account anymore. I hate that everything I touch needs an account. I am so tired of I want to make a PDF smaller. Sign up for our monthly subscription. Just compress my PDF. Oh my God. Just give me my file.
That's it.
I was like, that's it. We're not doing it. No more accounts. No more convoluted activation system. Here's your key. Install it. And we've always kind of prioritized the user experience. I don't want to say over simulation depth because we certainly didn't really cut a lot of corners in that regard, but we've always viewed everything from the perspective of what is it going to feel like to use. And that's how we ended up with True Glass and Real Light to begin with. Well, Real Light was something else. True Glass, that's how we ended up there. It was an obvious missing item that FS 2004 kind of had. It was not great, but it existed. And then it was just totally absent in FSX and the first couple of versions of P3D. Years before, I forget what we were doing. I was just messing around with code. I wanted to use CUDA, which is the for the people that are the technically minded people know exactly where I'm going with this. But when you buy a GPU, you see, oh, it's got however many thousands of CUDA cores. It basically lets the GPU do simple parallel math. So you could take, for example, 1,000 raindrops and do the math for where all 1,000 are going to be at the same time instantly. So at the time, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is a way we can do this because it's really mathematically complex to simulate 1,000 individual particles sequentially every frame. It's too much. So years before True Glass ever came out, we had this idea, and I worked out. It was horribly unstable, the first version. Like, you'd get maybe 10 minutes and your sim would crash. Horribly unstable. And it only worked on the PFD. Like, I replaced the PFD with just raindrops. So it was just raining basically on that one glass surface. But I proved that it worked. It just wasn't performant enough. Years later, I forgot how we became aware of it, but P3D added this new PDK rendering thing, which, again, without going too much into the details, let us use modern stuff instead of the old, because most of the core of FSX and P3D is like 25, 30 years old.
Yeah.
And we were stuck rendering with that old 25, 30-year-old stuff that just couldn't do it. P3D, I want to say V4, between it being 64-bit and raising the memory limit.
Correct, yes.
And then this new rendering tech, we could finally do that sort of thing real time. And then it was kind of just a case of porting what we already had in, which is why it just came out of nowhere. There wasn't this new development effort. But I remember I was sitting in my truck. I had like an old Toyota Tacoma, like an 06 Tacoma at the bottom of my driveway. And I remember just sitting there like looking at the raindrops. I'm like, how does that work? Trying to figure out. I have that one particular memory of like staring really intently at one drop of rain going down the window, trying to figure out how we were going to draw that in the sim. And I was like, that was such a fun process.
Thank you, guys Toyota.
Nailed it. Thank you, Toyota. You guys nailed it, man. It really took the Sims to the
game changing.
It was game changing, man. I loved it.
That product gave me what is probably one of the highlights of my career, which is when we went to Cosford in 2017. Now, at this point, the 717 was like, less than a year old.
Right.
We are a relative no-name developer. We made smart cars, but outside of the tight-knit VA community, we didn't really have a mainstream name yet, or at least so I thought. And we went up on stage, and this is when we announced True Glass to the world. And I went up on stage, and I got to have this, and I guess, let me back up for a second. This is so significant because I remember years before watching Randazzo announce, I think, the 777 at one of the Flight Sim cons. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Him getting to be up there and show this plane. Everybody was loving it, and it was such a positive moment.
Yeah.
And I must have been like 13 or 14 when I was watching this video, and I was like, I want to do that someday. And I remember thinking, and it was always in the back of my mind, like, I want to get an opportunity to present something like that. Fast forward to Cosford, and we go up on stage. FSFX at the time let us borrow some of their announcement time. And I was just kind of introducing everybody. It's like, hi, guys, we're TFDI. How many of you, just so I know, how many of you know who we are? And the entire room put their hands up.
Wow.
And that was like the most humbling moment. And I've remembered that. I mean, come on, we're coming up on 10 years later, and I still remember that as one of those, like,
that's
wow.
Awesome.
And it, like, the whole thing. And then we showed True Glass right after it, and that was, the amount of energy in that room was insane. Everybody was looking at us like they did it. Somebody finally did it.
It was like I said, man, it's like just in general how far we've come in Flight Sim. It's remarkable. Like, we find things naturally as human beings to complain about,
for sure.
But like, we are in a new world, man, as it relates to just the level of immersion that is available in flight simulation today. And I think 100%. You're right. We've come so far in such a short amount of time that, really looking forward to the next couple of years. I don't know that we'll go, to your point, as drastically as we've gone so quickly, but it just goes to show you the level of experience that you can achieve from a desktop flight sim is still well beyond any of us thought was possible, even just 6 years ago.
By far the best time to be a at-home flight simmer that there's ever been.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. We spent 30 minutes of our show last time talking about just all hardware. Like, which even is that.
I don't have the MD-11 one right now. I was going to say, I got this whole thing sitting right here. The PU Air ones that you can swap out. I got the Airbus one on here. I was like, this was unheard of just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You said MD-11 one.
Yeah.
Pretty tell, sir.
Yeah. Oh, here. Let me, I would love to plug these guys. They were so respectful to us. We met them at a expo. They were the nicest guys. And
wow.
PU Air Korea. They make
PU
these
PU
CDUs.
Oh, you know them?
Y'all heard of them?
Yep.
I'll drop a link here to the one.
Charlie,
They
Charlie
made a
is
metal.
the hardware connoisseur, so I'm sure he did.
It's a
Hey,
die-cast
Hey,
metal
my
faceplate.
desk is a lot cleaner than y'all's. I don't want to hear that.
Man, I don't know, Charlie. I don't know.
So I just sent the link here in the chat, but
Awesome.
that they had one for the MD on display at Expo. I want to say in Rhode Island just this last year.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
And now it's like a plausible layout because it's swappable, but that's the thing. So I have
That's
one
awesome.
for the Max, I have one for the Airbus, and I have one for the MD-11. And I think that's awesome. And I just got it plugged in down there on the side, and it's
You
whenever
can
you're ready to go,
swap it.
just drop a new faceplate on and you're good to
man.
go.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
that didn't
that's
exist.
true. That's true, Colin, because I picked up the wing. I have the do and the PA, all of them, their acronyms, the PIMP, something like that.
Was that a licensing thing? Why they don't just call it the?
I think it is, Mike.
it's
I think it's like a
licensing.
licensing deal, right?
Oh, maybe.
And so it is it would be kind of nice to have like that faceplate action, boom,
To
boom.
be able to-
I'm getting-
yeah.
Oh man, game changing, bro. Game changing. But I would love. I'm hoping one of our good throttle experts who does a lot of the 3D printing and get us some MD. It's something about.
You haven't seen it?
about those. What, have y'all seen any?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you talking about for the Bravo?
Yeah, for the Bravo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have lent him at my friend's. My living accommodations don't really have space for a Bravo, but I left him at my friend. Or I'd show you. But they have one with working reverse, and it has a gate for the flap too, so you have to pull it up and drop it into place. It's a pretty cool setup. There's two. There's I think Flight Sim Factory is one of them, and I think Pro
Flight
Sim
Sim
Desk.
Factory.
That's the one
The
I
other
know.
one? I think there's two of them that do it, and I forget which one I have. So I'm sorry to the manufacturer. I can't plug you right now, but
no worries.
it feels really really cool. Pro Sim Desk.
Pro
Desk.
Pro
That's
Desk
right,
Sim.
yeah,
Okay,
that
shout
one
out
too.
to
Yep.
Delta Alpha.
Yes. So there's some really cool stuff there. And I mean, they've come a lot further than the ones that I had when I first got it. It's just been a couple of years now, but
Sure.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yep. And then they have it's got the throttles, the speed brake with the detent for all 3 stops and everything too. And you feel it like drop into place. It's really satisfying. And again, this stuff didn't exist. You either had to spend like thousands of dollars on bespoke stuff.
Right.
Or you basically just dealt with like the $100 Cytec stuff.
Cytec, that's all you had.
I'll tell you what, I still have the same Cytec rudder pedals my dad bought me when I was probably 10.
Wow.
The power LED doesn't even work anymore. You don't
But they still work.
But they still work.
though, man. They're solid stuff.
The Cytec, man. They work. Now they may be jank and like unrealistic as all get out, but hey, man, they'll provide that input to the PC.
You can throw them down the stairs and still do a flight with them.
That's it, man. That's it. I find that's what's funny. Like in my entire flight sim career, I've had 2 sets of rudder pedals. I had the Cytex and I had these the Thrustmaster TPR ones, and it wasn't even because the Cytec died. It's just because I got older and got bougie and started working and had more money, and like, dang,
I want the metal ones. Yeah.
Right, let me get the metal ones. Right? So
they do look nice, don't they? I just looked at
oh
them.
man, and they're bulletproof. I got a 5-year-old, and he's just all under there, and they're holding
strong.
Holding strong, man. Holding strong. But I just gotta give it. No. You're good, my friend. You're good. No. I just going back to your True Glass story real quick. I remember following that and just seeing you guys kind of like progress from like that point to now. It's just like, not to get into the bro moment for me. It was like, dang, it's insane to see, the developers you
come up with.
Come up with, I was just like, man, TFT, who the heck is that? I'm like, wow, I love all things McDonnell Douglas. It's like, oh man, I was sold. I was sold since then, and it's like the True Glass absolutely
use smart cards a ton too. When I was heavy
smart
in
cards,
virtual,
you know,
airlines.
when I had more time, you know, I was sending VA flight smart cards, which just it was brilliant, man. So, you know, I mean, that is it's funny. Every time I hear that story, it's just like, wow, I remember them days. It's like, dang, man, I'm really getting old, but I don't know, guys. Maybe it's just old Johnny getting nostalgic here. But no, going back to hardware though, have you been so what's the interaction like, Colin, between hardware manufacturer like for example like WinWing or ProDetSim or any of those? Like do you guys get a lot of, you know, correspondence between hardware manufacturers when you're developing these aircraft?
Not really. Every now and again, I think Moby Flight has worked with us direct to help with some of the WinWing compatibility. And
Works
again,
like a charm.
The PU Air Korea guys, they worked with us directly as well to kind of get some information and make sure everything was smooth. But in general, it's not even really to dump on the hardware guys. It's not necessary. Sure. There's if with the exception of super custom things. Now, and the way we develop stuff, we published all of our event IDs and variable names, and we've tried to make it as easy to integrate with our stuff as possible. So you don't have to contact us, not because we don't want you to, but it makes it easier for everybody if it's just, hey, here's everything you could possibly need. We have, you know, make something, sell something. We don't really care as long as it's not misleading to our customers. You know, we want this community exists by building on each other's work. So we tried to make it as easy to do that as we could. And I think that's probably why we haven't had a lot of direct interface with them. And then on the other side, we tried to support as much like default stuff as we could. So, you know, your default auto brake events, your default, you know, the lights we can't do for a different reason. But that's actually, I'd love to hear from Honeycomb on this one if they're listening. But the way their controls work, they spam the events. So if I listen to the lights, it's like 40 times a second and it lags the whole module. That's why you can't control any of our lights with the Honeycomb stuff by default, because the way it is mapped out of the box would destroy your frame rate.
Wow.
So,
hey, Nikki, we need to. I'm gonna see you at Expo, Nikki. Don't worry about it, bro. I'm gonna see you at Expo.
Hey, bro, it ain't Nikki no more, bro.
Who's behind them jokers now? I
have no idea.
Yeah,
it ain't Nikki.
We'll see you at Expo.
We need a whole another podcast for that one.
Yeah,
we don't even get in that one.
We ain't getting into that one.
By the way, guys, Expo is right around the corner.
Yes.
Make sure they are booking up quick. Like I know I had to like coerce the rest of the team. Like, guys, because I was looking like last year, and like a lot of the rooms were booked, and I have status with the hotel chain that they're booking with, and it was tough for me to get. So make sure you guys get booked up for Expo. I think this early. This is going to be another one for the books. Definitely get in there. I think it's going to be awesome, and the CTP crew will be there.
Yep. You guys, you got a booth, or you walking the floor?
While hitting the floor, man.
We're most likely hitting the floor. Yeah. We'll be doing some live interviews. I think that'll be cool. Some recorded interviews, some recorded content. Really, the three of us haven't been since Houston, so this will be good. Where the three of us are together. So looking forward to that one.
That'll be a fun time.
Yep. You guys got a booth over there, Colin?
Well, you know, we just talked about this recently. We're going to go in some form or fashion, whether that means as walking around so we can, because it's a mixed bag for us, because we've in the past typically done the booths.
But it's a lot of work, man, for a booth.
It's a lot of work.
Having it staffed and
well, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of the booth ever being empty. I think if we're going to spend the time and money and effort to have a booth, there needs to be somebody there for customers. Plus, at the risk of, you know, complaining about, you know, a good thing, our brand doesn't, it pulls enough people that there's not really downtime. We haven't, there is no like, oh, you know, everybody saw it and then they take a break. There's no break. And we've seen that the last couple of years. And again, we want to do the best. If we're going to be there, we want to be there, be able to answer questions and show people things. But we've also seen a big shift toward hardware. And this is something that we've debated internally. Is there really as much of an incentive for us as a purely software company to exhibit? Because you can watch a YouTube video, you can download it yourself, you know, go and buy it. And because, you know, when you're talking about $400 or $500 hardware investments, you want to try that. You want to feel it. You want to see it on a table.
Yep.
But $70 software, $80 software. Again, I'm not saying that it's not a lot of money, but comparatively, it's less investment. And you you can get a good feel for how something works by watching a YouTube video. You cannot get a feel for how controls are going to feel in your hand from a YouTube video.
No.
And I think as a result of that, it started to shift more toward things that benefit more from physical demos. And we see less of a software presence. So we're not entirely set on whether or not we're going to exhibit ourselves or was going to be there. We'll be there in our red shirts. We're done with the gray blending in shirts. We're going back to the red. So you'll see us sticking out like sore thumbs, walking around like we used to. But we're debating whether or not we're just going to go and walk the floor and spend time actually talking with people meaningfully, not having to do the swiveling door of conversations at the booth. I'm thinking that's probably the route we're going to go. But you're going to see us there either way. There'll be a couple of us there no matter what.
Looking forward to it.
Heck, I've still got my little sticker, I think, from Houston somewhere.
The chubby MD.
I mean,
Yeah, the
chubby MD 11 stickers.
You got an MD11 sticker? Charlie, don't talk to me anymore.
Hey, you walked right by the booth and didn't grab it.
Because I had all those kids, bro. You remember? Yeah.
Well, I had Liam.
I'll see. Maybe we can scrounge one up for you. I know somebody's got a box of them. It's either our former COO or our community manager. One of them has them.
Oh,
I'll message him and see if anybody's still got it. He just sent me. Josh Riley worked with us for a long time, and he just sent me a snap the other day. He's a paramedic now, I think, or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, seriously.
He went to answer his calling of helping people, which I've got nothing but respect for.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
And he sent me a snap, I guess the work laptop, whatever they gave him. He's got a chubby MD on it now. I'm like, that's perfect.
Awesome.
The MD still a part of his life, even if it's less.
I tell you, man, grabs a hold to you.
It
grabs
does.
a hold to you. Mm-hmm.
I didn't even like it when we started. I had no interest in the MD11 when we started it. No,
it's crazy.
Because I just didn't know anything about it. I knew it was this weird three. Somebody called it the 3-fan trash can the other day, and I haven't been able to forget that.
The 3
exactly. It's a love-hate relationship with the MD, and I'm gonna lie.
I have fallen in love with it though over the years. Oh, there he is. That's Josh Jishva. Perfect. But yeah, so the MD, man, I said I had no interest. I had no interest at all in the beginning. Didn't really know anything about it. And the more I learned, I'm like, this thing is freaking weird. I kind of like it. Because I know I've always been into
quirky.
Yeah, like I flew the Max or whatever. I flew the NG for probably 2,000 hours on VATSIM at some point. I've got more than my fair share of time in standard A to B flights. But as I've gotten older and I've kind of been there, done that, got the t-shirt kind of thing with the standard A to B flights. I like the weird stuff. Even with the MD, like I don't fly real air. Somebody asked me about liveries. I'm like, I don't think I've ever used any of our liveries because I'm like, hey, it's my plane. So it doesn't feel like flying the house livery. But I was like, I take this thing. I flew it to the South Pole once just to see what it would be like, which cool. That's a mess in the sim. The whole, if you get within about 40 nautical miles, the frame rate drops to it's seconds per frame.
Oh, it's freaking terrible.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. So, which sucked because we coded polar mode in the MD. There's a special AP mode specifically for, I want to say, greater than like 88 north,
like true
and
north
less than
and all
89
that.
south. Yeah, true north nav reverts to like, and actually, I think above 89 either way, there is no navigation. It's just wings level because it's no longer reliable. And it will do that until you're out of that danger zone, so to speak. And we coded all this. I can't test it.
Awesome.
Because the sim behaves so friggin' terribly in that area. I haven't tried in 24 yet, but at least in 2020, it was so bad that, I mean, eventually I think I was trying to land, but when you're getting like legitimately one frame a second, you have no perception of like sync rate or anything else. And I think I cratered it at like 2,000 feet a minute in the ice somewhere outside of the airport. I was like, that was about my South Pole experience. I had to move like 100 miles north so I could actually, use the sim.
Oh,
that's crazy.
Wow.
That's stuff I like doing. Weird stuff.
Guilty.
That's fun, man.
Yeah, that's me. I've been trying to get Mike on, man. I've been trying to get my Mike from point A to point B. I know lately I've been doing a lot of Western global trips. Like I've been doing like Miami to like Bogota, Colombia, running packages,
completely
things,
legal and documented packages.
Yes, totally documented packages, and yeah, it was amazing. So YouTube's freaking amazing, right? So I found a YouTube video. There was a FedEx guy. He did a complete cold and dark video for the MD-11.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through the cold and dark MD, like I had it on my TV, and like I was going through it, one for one. Like there was not one test that there was like not one test I couldn't do that he did, and it wasn't spot on. I'm just like, wow, man. Game changer. But I'm with you when you're right. I'm totally down for the weird and quirky aircraft, but I think at the same time, just to give the MD-11 its flowers, I think there's something to be said when you got two of the largest cargo carriers in the world after all these years still continue to operate them when there's a whole lot of other options out there. They're getting mothballed. A380. No,
are they still?
They're chilling at Roswell, man. A lot of them are chilling at Roswell.
Crazy that the A380 never made it to cargo land.
Yeah. And then I don't think it's because they've looked at them. I've done a little research because I was curious the same thing. I'm like, this thing's freaking massive. It's a freaking balloon with wings.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, why is it? And so and I think I brought this up in the chat. From what I've heard, I've read. So the amount of space, like it would, if you filled up the internal volume of the aircraft, it'd be over gross. So I guess
it's huge, but you can't really pack it with anything because you're gonna go over the gross. Yeah, the 380.
Okay, I was gonna say that. Now that makes sense. I mean, the fuselage is gigantic.
Yeah,
I'd love to see one of them in real life. I've never seen one.
Oh, 380.
Man, I saw one, bro. And trust me, you'll never forget it. You'll never.
I bet.
Freaking amazing. I haven't flown on one. That's still. I got to get on one before they sunset all of them. But I've seen them in person, man.
I've seen one fly over the house leaving Atlanta one time, but that's the only time I've seen it.
Really?
What you basically got to be going like LA to Sydney or like LA to Heathrow or something.
Yeah, LA to Sydney. Miami to Heathrow.
Then I think more from Global X or somebody like that do something like that, Mike. Like he buy 380 or something like that.
Yes. There's one. Yes, because I saw there's been a couple of Vatson folks flying it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I see them all the time. I guess because I'm LAX. So we probably have the most in the country besides Kennedy.
I think Dallas,
the JFK and LAX.
DFW at one point I've heard that they're bringing one back, but
Qatari's bringing theirs back to DFW. I think
that's what.
Or Singapore. One of them.
That's it. But I was actually
going to install the fly-by-wire talking about the A380.
Oh, I've been running it,
Colin.
I've been running it here the last month. I love it. I hate how performance heavy it is. When it's not VR, it's fine, but in VR, it's a total mess. I've had to download like a downgraded texture package for it just to get it to run in VR. But it's not significantly different in look. But yeah, I love flying it. It's great.
I think it's the size because we've talked about this for us.
It's the polys,
There's physically even textures. It's physically a larger object.
Mm-hmm.
You think about the amount of textures it takes, for a water bottle versus a whole airplane. Even if they're all 8K, you're going to waste more. Waste is the wrong phrase, but you're going to consume more memory on the airplane because there's physically more space to texture. I think that's always a challenge on these behemoth airplanes that you're going to run into. And I think it's like even when people compare like the MD to the A320, I'm like they objectively could be higher resolution and consume less footprint than us just because of the size alone.
Yep,
that makes sense.
As you're saying that, I'm like, I remember the 380 flying decent. It was a little heavy on performance. I am dipping my toes into VR. I recently upgraded my GPU and I'm finally getting a good experience. And Pimax has been great to us, so I'm enjoying.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Shout out.
Yeah, it's I was a stickler for 2D flying. I just I don't want to put anything on my face to fly. And how could I use hardware while doing that? I said it made no sense. And we had XP72 come on the show. Johnny has been trying to get me even before that, but XP came on the show and just convinced me to just try it. And now, Colin, I cannot fly anything but in VR.
Really?
I will not fly. If VR for whatever reason is acting up, I'll try tomorrow.
Mike, don't worry about it, bro. You're good, man. Just go ahead and send that thing 2D. He won't do it.
Nope. You lose so much feeling and immersion.
What's your world scale?
I can't explain it. It's set to 1-for-1. I think I've got it to 100%.
I see 1-for-1 for me. I looked at the co-pilot and he looks like a first grader. Like the size is so wrong. I was just talking to a friend about this today. Like, why is it that like every game gets this so wrong? I feel like I'm playing with the Fisher Price edition.
The people may be off. I think the people, because even like the GSX passengers look weird, but the plane itself, so the scenery, the plane, the airports, everything else to me is perfect. Like doing walk around in VR, especially on the A380.
Oh yeah, man, you're sitting there doing this.
Literally.
Yeah.
You literally feel like you're actually out there walking around the 380. It's insane.
Okay, so have you had an opportunity to walk around the real one?
No.
Okay.
No, I've seen it from I've walked by it in the glass.
By it, yeah, same. Yeah, past when I've seen it. I was gonna ask because I would be interested to see if you cranked your world scale up to like 130 or whatever it is, 24, like the highest, and to see what you think. I was messing around. I was messing around with the MD earlier, and I was like, you know what? I put it all the way to the right, and then it actually felt
realistic.
But I do also notice though that when we spend a lot of time in the sim, and then we go and like I just recently flew JetBlue for the first time. Actually, great experience.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
I was a Southwest fanboy for 20 years, and finally gave that up. That's a whole different conversation.
Oh, don't get Johnny started on.
Yes. So, but. I remember looking in the cockpit, and every time you start to get what you think is like a feel for how large something is, you look in the real one and it feels smaller.
Yeah.
I feel like the real ones, they are more compact than you think they are. So I think maybe some of it's that bias for me. But I know for a fact the 1.0 default is not right.
Gotcha. Let me try
that. It looks like you're doing this. You need tweezers to hit some of the switches. I'm like, that's not right.
Yes.
I need, that's a good point. Some planes have it better than others, but you know what? I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to crank it up and see if it feels a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, I'm just curious because if you're a real hardcore VR guy, you might feel the difference more than me because I have no frame of reference. I have yet to do one gate-to-gate flight in VR.
Man, it's tough for me. I gotta get out of that, bro. I gotta get out of it. Like,
like when I'm in cruise, I don't
break.
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't sit.
Well, see, I got kids. I got kids too. So, man, like the house would be on fire if I was just like gate to gate. There's no way. So,
my wife was trying to learn to fly it the other day because we were testing it, and so she was sitting right behind me. She has a gaming laptop, which, by the way, somehow 24 is running on a gaming laptop.
What? No way.
Well,
and it's running great too,
fellas. Remember, Mike?
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So I was shocked, but so she's flying it behind me, and that was part of it too. Is like, and I was trying to fly with an Xbox controller because I wanted to prove that it could be done.
Right.
And then this was before the big release too, and there was a bug with the FMA. So basically, I got stuck in full takeoff thrust when it shouldn't have been. So I'm sitting here with a controller and I'm fumbling around like it's my first day flying already, and I'm in VR. So I'm like, and the camera's doing something screwy because my controller is weird. So I'm like, the camera's just doing this on its own while I'm not even moving. So I'm sitting there trying to see the panel like this, breaking my neck, fumbling with this controller. Like I said, I've never touched a plane before. I'm like, all right, finally, my hour-and-a-half long pre-flight is complete. I'm at the freaking runway. Hit auto flight, and I just launch into the trees off the side because I couldn't complete the turn. I'm like, that's it. I just about threw the VR thing, what I have here. I was like, just about threw it. I'm like, I'm done with this. I was like, I'll help you fly. I said to my wife, I'll help you fly. I'm done. I can't.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh man. Plus it's hot in here too, because I don't know what it is about modern CPUs. If you got
they pump heat.
My God, they're really effective at cooling the inside of the computer. They're real effective at heating everything else.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
You're like sweating 20 degrees outside, man. You're like sweating inside. Oh gosh.
In the winter, it's kind of, I'm in Florida, so winter's like, 4 hours, but
yeah,
when it is cold here, it's kind of nice because I don't need to turn the heat on in the office. I just open flight sim.
Yep.
Like unironically, it has been like probably 5 or 10 Fahrenheit hotter in here if I've been simming for a while than it is in the rest of the place.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
The sim will do that to your rig, man.
Oh yeah,
but VR takes a bit to get the quirks worked out. I had it was months before I finally got it in a place. I tried the whole what do you have the wireless stuff?
The virtual
desktop.
It just works for me. Like,
never
bro,
worked for me, man. It was a disaster.
Didn't work for me either.
I had to go wired, and ever since I did that, just basic wired setup with MetaQuest 3, no issues. Yeah,
and you can read it.
Oh yeah,
I had the Quest 2, and I guess the issue is the Quest 2 was just too low res. Like it was on the edge. And I remember
the Quest 2, but I did hear that
it was only good for like proof of concept. Like you could sit there, you get a feel for what it's like, and it's what it felt like. It felt like saying, "Hey, look, flight sim is VR is possible," and that was all it did.
Yeah, and that was it.
And now I switched to the Pimax, and like I can actually read the PFD. You know, an alert comes up, it's not just amber lines. I can actually read what's trying to tell me. Like, it's a lot more helpful.
That's right.
My first VR flight I tried to do was with the SR-71 that came out not too long ago, that Blackbird one. And man, that's taking off into the sunset. Now, of course, I crashed it because it flies unlike anything else I've ever seen.
Nuts. It's I flew it once. I still ain't.
Yeah, Johnny's like, Charlie, you don't want to fly this one,
bro. Yeah, it's like 2 hours, and then you gotta refuel, and like it's hard enough trying to refuel in DCS in 2020.
I'm not that good of a pilot.
I'm good.
I tried, and like at some point I will go back to it, but I got to tell you, sitting there, like I was taking off out of like Orlando, whatever, because that's my local now. So I'm taking off, and it was at like 5 a.m. in Sim, I guess, or wherever. No, sorry, I wasn't in Orlando. I was in Johannesburg because I was trying to continue my recent routes. And I'm taking off, and of course you're rocketing up at like 400 knots. I'm looking out in VR over the horizon, watching the sun come up over the whatever mountains. I don't know if there's mountains in Johannesburg. It's been a while, but whatever the distant terrain is, I see the sun coming up. I'm like, and with DLSS and all that, now I'm getting like 80, 90 FPS, so it's smooth. Yeah. I'm like, this is something else. That was why I was like, I'm going to try it in the MD-11, but I think I just tried too many new things all at once. It's like between helping, because I had to keep taking the thing on and off to help my wife, and the controller, and the bug in the plane, and VR for airliners. I'm like, this is too many variables. I'm losing my mind. I want to try it again. Maybe I'll do it later tonight. I'll try it again and see if I can get it. Man, I feel like I should pick a short flight. Like, don't start with like a 12-hour monster.
No, short. You gotta work up. Yeah,
work your way up.
LAX to Vegas.
Yeah,
that would be so overkill in the MD. You wouldn't even have to start a third engine.
You do not do LAX. No.
Although, you know what? Now that you say it, now I wonder if you went max climb. Well, because max climb would drop your GS to like 320 for most of the climb. If you did max climb and then max descent, you might actually be able to have a meaningful flight on LA to Vegas in the MD. Now you'd be climbing at like 6,000 feet a minute all the way up. It'd be damn near military climb, but you probably do it.
Yeah. But I know, man.
Maybe I will try it. I like weird stuff. Like I said, so maybe I will,
man. No, man, I'm right there with you, man. I'm telling you, like I said, I did that like before a couple hours for this podcast. I did I did Miami to Bogota, and like trying to like weave into those mountains and hit. Oh my gosh! And I was in VR, with the Quest 3.
Nice.
And you just,
oh man, you guys are making me want. I'm gonna do it soon. If not tonight, soon. Have you seen? Speaking of weird approaches, have you seen? There's a video on YouTube. Maybe I can find it here, but it's a guy that did. It was the MD-11 doing a Kai-Tak approach. This is when the 2020 version was being ported to 24 by the user. Still, I legitimately thought it was a real video. This guy's editing was so good, like the camera placement was so good. His lighting was like just right. And I'm watching this thing, and I'm imagining like real planes do this,
right?
They used to anyway. I'm watching this approach, and I'm like, that has got to be one of those ones that like the urge to take a Xanax as a pilot before doing that approach has got to be there.
Yes.
Like watching that angle as you're coming in, especially in something like an MD or a 7.4 or something like that. My God,
they sent some heat into there too, man. The freaking what was it? The 747s, 340s, like some weight, like they were in there, man. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Like, and that's been me lately, fellas. Like, I've been like gravitating towards those like unique approaches with like the biggest thing I can get into. And like Bogota's been the latest one. I've been looking at crossing the Pacific with the MD. So I don't know. Maybe this weekend I'll try to find something. I don't know. This has just been me being weird, but I was looking at I was trying to think of like where they were heading to in Castaway. I don't know, Charlie. This is your boy being weird, man.
I can't ever figure it out, man.
Yeah, I was trying to figure like kind of where they're I guess the equivalent where they were going geographically in Castaway and said something like that. But just to kind of stretch the MD's legs. But yeah, that's been me here lately, Colin. I've been all about the unique situations you can get the biggest thing into.
Me too. So we did the opposite this morning. A friend of mine, we were, St. Bart's, right? The infamous,
yeah.
So I guess the weather was real gnarly there today, and we, my friend and I busted out the J3, and I don't think we made it 100 feet down the runway before we took off because the winds were right at you.
Gosh,
it's ridiculous. But we were trying to see if we could get it because you could just about stop midair with enough winds with that thing.
Oh wow!
We were trying to see if we could land it on the cruise ship helipad because the winds were so, and we just about did. I couldn't. I may or may not have buried the nose in the ship, but my friend actually got the wheels on the helipad and managed to stop it before going off the side of the ship. Totally ridiculous.
Wow.
Because I was messing around in VR this morning and I started in Orlando. I'm like, this is boring. I'm like, I could go look at Orlando in real life. I'm like, I want to go do something crazy. So I went to St. Bart's and then I saw the weather. I was like, oh, dude, you got to try this. I'm like, this is next level ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, man. It's like, and that kind of brings me to another point. I guess this has been a thing with the MD here on this show, but where did you guys how did you all find the various options that you can pick up with the MD? Because apparently there's an anti-missile system you can get on
pads.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Now ours doesn't do anything. We don't simulate the actual missile or anything like that, of course. But
right.
But yeah, I don't know how we found out about that. I think my art guy, Aaron, found that one.
Wow,
that's crazy.
He's got a couple of times. He's just been because there's another weird layout of the cockpit. Delta, I guess, modified the cockpit, put an extra secondary weather radar in where some of the standbys are, moved the standby under the to the left of the PFD, I think. And it's this whole other layout. We modeled it. We never did implement the stuff because I wanted to find the actual documents for that gauge. But a couple of times, Aaron has just come to me. He's like, yeah, so I added this random option that they have. And I'm like, all right, sure. I mean, I will code it. It's, a lot of the stuff is just if simple if option set and it does something different. But it was one of those planes I think a lot of carriers decided to mix and match with. It's like I guess KLM has one. It's not something we don't have, but I guess they called it the egg timer. And it was basically if you ever had legitimately an old egg timer,
right,
the big circular dial with the clock on the outside.
7, Charlie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they had one of those, I guess in one of the blanks on the overhead was just the egg timer on certain variants. And they had a couple of weird, quirky things. I think everybody gives me a hard time because I fly it in the most cursed configuration, I guess. But I fly it single queue with the tapes.
Single queue.
Really?
Everybody hates it. But you can always tell if it's my screenshot or not because it's going to be the stuff everybody else detests all at one time.
I might have to try that just because.
The tapes, I guess, was meant to try to feel familiar for people coming in from older planes. I guess it had that gauge.
I could see
so that makes sense, but obviously but the thing I don't understand about that is a lot of older steam gauges were also dials.
That's true.
I don't understand what they were trying to maintain commonality with. Maybe it was because didn't the 747 have tapes? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I want to say the 747-2 I think had tape. Yeah, I think there was a mix too because I remember I say this because I remember there was a variant and it may have been an option, Colin, truth be told, because I've seen them both. I've seen the 747-2 or maybe a 3 with the rounds, but I remember seeing the 747 SP with tapes. So
I just looked it up and you're exactly right. I think there were some indeed that had what a weird. But I mean, the MDs don't look like that either, though. I don't know.
No, they don't.
I don't know. But that's we have a thing in our Discord that's like one of the little stickers. It's called McDingle moment, and we have so many of these things. Somebody will come in and be like, "Oh, this isn't working right." I'm like, "Yes, it is. That's just how the plane works."
Yep,
we have some of those McDingle moments. These weird options. There's another display thing. You can remove the altitude pointer. like the speed and altitude pointer, the line instead. It's called like high precision mode, I guess. And we ended up not doing that option as well. But it's same kind of thing. It was like one of those really weird. I've never seen it practically in use anywhere, but it was an option. It's just this plane is full of. I mean, we all know it's a quirky plane. The list just gets longer. The longer you look, the longer the list of quirks gets.
The longer, yeah, it is, and you know, and I think the same thing applies for like even the MD-80, Charlie. You know, it's just weird, man. And I just maybe because I'm a weird guy, but I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If I remember,
I like it.
Yeah, me too. Delta Alpha says, if I remember correctly, certain LT11s had. Yes, they did.
That makes
Delta Alpha. Yeah,
Did.
You're right, and that was really
makes total
popular
sense.
back in those days. So I can see those crews transitioning, and you know,
That
I
was
was
a
like,
three-holer
okay.
too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that makes sense. You're coming from another tri-engine with tapes. That would make sense if they're trying to maintain the commonality with that.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's just a really interesting. Like, I love one of the facts, about the MD, where like for the APU, for example, it's like, in my mind, okay, I'm gonna hit the APU start stop switch, but like all you have to do is just hit
That's
the
it.
APU power button, and it's just like, okay, you're one power. Let me do everything else.
Unless you go to the back of the overhead and then click that one, because that's a whole different process.
Really?
There's a different. Yeah.
Interesting.
So the APU generator button, the way I understand it, and so far it seems like we got the behavior right. So I think this is how it is. The APU generator, that button, it is actually the APU gen. Now, when it's off and you push the APU gen on the electrical panel, it signals the computer to start the APU and also connect the generator for you. It also tells the computer this is an auto-managed APU instance. So when the bleed comes off, it'll shut it back down again for you too. Once the APU is off bus and the bleed's off for 90 seconds, I think it'll shut it down. But you may not want that. MD was like, okay, cool. This is, the majority of use cases are going to fall within these parameters. But let's say you don't want that. On the aft overhead, I think just to the just to the right of the fire handles, there is another APU start button. And that button just commands the APU on and off. There's no generator, no nothing else. If you start it from back there, touching the button on the electrical panel just connects and disconnects the generator. Does not start and stop it.
Wow. Unreal.
And that's the only plane I know of that does that.
I think that was the thing that kind of blew my mind. Like, wow, and I think when you think in terms of automation, you think Airbus, right? And it's like, wow, they didn't do that.
No.
But DMD doesn't auto trim. It does everything else automatically, but it does auto trim in the air, just not on the ground.
Just not on the ground. Yeah.
It'll scream at you if you don't trim properly.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I flew the 320 recently, after hardcore flying the MD for some time testing.
Right.
And I'm looking around, I'm like, where's the trim? I'm like, why don't I have to trim? It's like, oh, that's right, it does it for you. I'm like, that seemed like such a weird thing. But the MD automates almost everything except something you have to do every single flight. That one you got to do by hand until you take off, and then it'll do it for you.
Yeah, do it for you. Wow. And that's, and again, I think that's, and the guys know it was something about McDonnell Douglas. I think that airplane was well ahead of its time. And I think that was part of its downfall. It was well ahead of its time. And I think you guys absolutely captured it amazingly. So I mean, guys, if y'all haven't checked out the TFDI's MD-11, check it out. You're missing out. I mean, on an amazing experience. Do you guys ever plan on going to the marketplace? I don't think I've asked that, Colin. Okay. Cool.
So I initially was going to send it over this week. But once we saw there were a couple of day one things to work out.
Sure.
We don't have the option to interface with marketplace customers as quickly as we do with people from our own store or from even people from the vendors. So right now, if there's an issue, we get to hear about it almost right away and can address it almost instantly with those customers. I mean, we did a hot fix on day one. So we don't get that option on the marketplace. It's days for Microsoft to respond.
Yeah, it's whenever they want to initialize the update.
So we want to wait. I'm thinking this probably this upcoming week we'll have an update out again. Tentatively, please don't rake me over the coals if I'm off. That's for anybody listening too. We're trying, but again, as you all know, we're gonna get it right, whether that means 2 days or 10. But we're thinking right now mid next week we'll have an update out, and I'm figuring we're gonna send that build to marketplace, and then we get to convert everything for Xbox. And I guess the process for that is you send it to them, and then they'll add your account to some developer list, and then you can test it. And that's a whole process. But the testing, again, there's very, very little interactive testing with this process. So we're kind of waiting until the absolute final, what we've been calling, again, from the old gaming industry, the gold master, which, I don't know, are you familiar with the term?
Oh, yeah.
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 So I'm waiting for our gold master copy, and then that's what's going to go to the marketplace.
Gotcha. Wow. So it's eventually at some point it will be going to console users as well.
Soon, ideally.
Really cool.
If there are no hangups, if all we have to do, obviously 8K is not going to happen on Xbox.
Absolutely.
For sure. So we got to downsize some of that stuff.
For sure.
We have to knock down some of the text resolution. We're going to have to do the low poly cabin, which again, it's already developed. It's just a case of making config changes.
For sure.
So if we can send that and it works as is with no major issues, ideally it might hit the marketplace within a day or two of the PC version, or it could be days to weeks later, depending on what kind of hassles we run into on the Xbox. We put just about zero effort into the Xbox so far because, again, same concept. Get 2020 right. Okay, that's good. Now we do it in 2024. Okay, those are both good and sealed. Now let's get it to marketplace. That works. Microsoft's happy with it. There's no extra BS there. All right. Now we put that on the Xbox. So we minimize the scope of things we have to work on to make it work. And I think that will be a better experience for everybody. So hopefully soon. I am super stoked about the idea of seeing our again, talking about the best time to be a simmer. What time in the last 20 years? I mean, I've been simming since 2009, 2010, whatever it is. I can't ever think of a time where you could sit down on your living room couch, pick up an Xbox controller, and install a AAA high fidelity airliner and fly just like a pilot would.
Never before
on the living room TV. That is insane. It may not be for everybody. I know it won't be for everybody.
Well, heck, now with the controller hardware coming out, it's like, shoot.
Yeah. It's actually viable.
Exactly. Full throttles, everything. Like,
So what was it? Was it Meridian or something like that, Charlie?
That controller?
Honeycomb.
On our good friends Yaman as well.
Yeah, Yaman.
Was it Honeycomb? I think
Honeycomb just come out with their I can't remember the name of it, but man, it looks good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's so many things being developed now that make that possible. That's why I since the beginning, I'm like, we're gonna try to we've jumped through all the other hoops to be able to exist in the marketplace. Why not take it that last 5% and go to console too?
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's like I said, just can't wait. Question from Delta Alpha: do you know what highlighted items are being worked on at the moment?
Yes. I was actually trying to pull the changelog up, but we've been apparently having issues with Cloudflare the last 2 days.
Cloudflare, right? Yeah. Never Cloudflare.
I'm never one to point fingers. I like to try to solve stuff ourselves, but we have two separate servers on two separate physical machines. One is a personal website I run for something else on our shared hosting server, and the other is our corporate stuff on a different physical machine. The only thing they have in common is they're hosted with the same infrastructure provider, OVH, and they use Cloudflare. That's the only thing they have in common. It's different server software, different operating system, different firewalls, different networks, and they're both almost unreachably slow the last 2 days. The only thing they have in common is the infrastructure that we can't control.
Sounds like Verizon cell phone service too.
No, shots fired.
Man, it's been a tough week for infrastructure providers.
Man, I'm telling you.
AT&T for the win, but I don't know. AT&T has had their day too, so they got some heat for that one.
This is on our public changelog, but I'm going to grab a link. I'm going to send a clip link. I don't know if it'll mark up and share. Oh boy. Here we go. Hang on. Let me.
No worries. No worries at all.
I'm just trying to get it uploaded somewhere, and I forgot my it saved it to my clipboard. I don't use ShareX whatever anymore. Let me drop this. All right.
No worries.
Oh
No
my
worries.
God. I feel like I'm 80 years old right now. I'm just like, I'm randomly marking up this image. I have a workflow for screenshots that I never deviate from.
Yep.
All right. Because it gave me a
No.
share button. Oh, don't even get me started on Windows.
Oh
Windows.
man, yeah. And then whether they're talking about like Windows 12 now. Who mentioned that?
Me. I saw
Yeah,
an
man. Leave it
article the other
alone. What Microsoft? No, if y'all guys are listening,
Get the first
stop.
one
We're
right.
good.
Remember, the
man.
Windows 10 was it. That was it. That was the end all be all Windows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I say. Well, anyway, I can't. I gotta watch myself here. But all right, let me see how horribly formatted. Oh, I can't even post this. It's way too long. Okay, well, highlights. I guess I can verbally tell you some of the highlights. Docs.tfdidesign.com. There is a changelog for the MD. If you look at the collector's edition changelog, that has the full list. But long story short, it's the option for automatic cabin shades. To turn that off. I realize not everybody's into that, so we had that option. Fixed a couple of these crashes that people have been having. We had thousands of hours of testing and never once encountered.
Oh wow!
We've been able to nail down one of them.
Me neither.
I have never had I mean, if it was crashing regularly, we wouldn't have released it.
Sure, absolutely.
I've never had a Wasm crash.
Me either. And it's not like it's happening a ton, but it's happening enough that it was worth investigating.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we found a couple of really weird cases. And when I say weird, I mean, we had a guy in Discord last night, and I will answer the question. I know I have the habit of taking the scenic route to the answer. I will eventually answer the question, but it's a podcast, right? It's supposed to be the back.
That's right. Hey man, we're all about the road less taken.
Cool. All right. So this guy came in last night to the Discord, or I think it was yesterday, with predictions from negative 9999 feet. And that's weird because, again, we've never seen this in testing. And that number means something. That's not just a random error. Negative 9999 is out invalid in our code. That basically means it isn't there. There is no altitude set because no valid altitude can ever be that low. So that tells me something went catastrophically wrong calculating this guy's flight plan. Only problem is I have literally never seen this. None of the QA team, none of the collector's edition, none of us, which is about 1,000 people total, never once. So we dug into it. We got this customer to send us a panel state, and me and one of our QA guys, Killian, who's been an absolute rock star. He's even on the credits. He's contributed so much. He and I were looking at the code. I was screen sharing it in the QA channel, and I noticed when I loaded this panel state, P3D being, what it is, got my lat long backwards. So I was in like the middle of the ocean instead of where this guy was. As soon as I loaded the panel state, all the flight plan legs gone. All of a sudden, it said I was 60 miles from the arrival. I was 1,000.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is related. Long story short, come to find out that I guess if you happen to make a change to the flight plan that causes it to recompute, there is a possibility it could have advanced a leg while it was recomputing, which would have caused, basically, if you did a direct to and then it skipped the leg immediately, it would compute from the leg it has yet to calculate, which would be alt invalid, and then continue from there. And to make it do this was such a ridiculously specific set of conditions. And I'm looking at this thinking, I guess statistically speaking, if 1 in 1,000 people has this, that doesn't mean that if we have 1,000 testers, one of them will have it. Sure. That's not how stats work. So there's the possibility. I was like, we've only seen this a couple of times. I know our approximate usership. Statistics support that it's just exceptionally rare. But anyway, to address it, stuff like that. We had a couple of crashes that were really weird. The direct to page, I guess, under certain conditions could do something weird and crash the Wasm. So mainly this is focused on stability and little systems issues. So a couple of those fixes, a couple of like ILS showing DME on the PFD when that receiver doesn't have DME, little operational things, the option for the cabin shades, and a mitigation for this chase plane issue with the EFB. People are getting their mouse is getting stuck, I guess, in one of the input fields on the EFB, only when using chase plane. I'm not blaming chase plane. I'd blame the sim. Sure. There's something going on with the way that some intersection of our EFB, the camera control, and chase plane is not happy. But we added something to basically kick you out of the input box after 5 seconds, so it stops ending people's flights. We really focus mainly on that. There'll be an art update too to address a couple of little gaps in the model here and there, and a couple of minor animation things, but mainly polished stuff beyond those couple of big ticket items. Overall, I'm happy with where we ended up week 1 though.
Absolutely, man. Week 1, and we're talking like just minuscule-ish.
There's only 1 or 2 actual like we got to fix this right now.
Right. Yeah. Like,
I can
man, Charlie, how many times have we had like, okay, the plane's not flying?
Yeah.
Like we gotta. All right, let's just like update 2 or 3. We're like still piecing the aircraft together. Hey, I'm not mad at it one bit.
That.
Yeah,
I want people to be able to know that they can count on the MD wherever they want to go, whatever it is, and there's no coming soon tape. There's no pardon our mess. I don't want any of that. I want it to be a mainliner for people, and they know they can count on it. They don't have to worry about. The worst you're going to get is it might draw some spaghetti on the magenta line every now and again. And if it does,
absolutely
delete the one leg that has a problem and move on. You'll be fine.
Keep it moving. Yep. I'm all about spaghetti. Yeah, man. No worries at all. I guess one last topic I wanted to touch on, Colin, seeing that, with the, and Charlie as well, I think we had this discussion earlier today, Charlie, with the, with the whole AI boom, right? And we're looking at, increases in hardware. I think, what Mikey actually had to step out. He of course, sends everyone his regards. But just recently picked up a new machine. Have you noticed any changes, or have you noticed like a shift in terms of how you guys are developing as it relates to understanding and knowing that with the hardware issue that's come about, that consumers may or may not have that 64 gigs of DDR5 to be able to hold up to the demands of today's add-ons? Have you guys really had any dialogue as it relates to that, or have you guys really even been seeing any any effects or rumblings at all so far?
Not yet, but that doesn't mean that we won't. I think something like that, there's always going to be a lead time, because especially I know almost all the people lined up on Monday for the MD were people that are probably already flight simmers. I don't think we brought a lot of new people in on Monday.
For sure.
And I think right now we're kind of insulated from that because they're people that are already simmers. Now, I think in the next 3 to 6 months, as much as I want to think the MD will have an impact on flight simming, and it will in a small degree, I don't think we're going to pull hundreds of thousands of people into the industry with this product. But as an industry in general, as these higher fidelity things start happening and it's becoming more common, I think we might start seeing that more. We might start seeing more moderate, intermediate level machines being present. But again, like we said earlier, the sims run better than they used to objectively too.
Absolutely. Thank goodness. Whew.
But I do see every now and again, I guess in a small way we have a little bit, because I have seen some users coming in with what looks like out of RAM crashes, like people straight up running out of memory. Wow. And I hadn't really put 2 and 2 together until just now when you said it, but that might be where that's coming from. People with more modest setups, because it's exuberantly expensive to have some of that stuff.
It is, and it's not getting any daggum cheaper.
Not anytime soon.
Shit.
They say the bubble's going to pop eventually, but I don't know that it's going to be a big boom, housing market style.
Sure.
I think
it's not going to pop till AI pops. So that's just the fact.
Well, that's what I mean. I have my whole opinions about AI. I could go on a 10-minute rant just about AI.
We could talk about that in the background, because I've got mine too.
But in short, no, not yet. But I'd like to think that we'll get to avoid a lot of that, though, like I said, because for a lot of people it might be turning your settings down.
Yep.
But I'd like to think that it's not so prohibitively expensive that it's inaccessible. And again, consoles, I think, help that middle ground.
Absolutely.
You can go and we just had our guy get a Series S for $300 from GameStop or something.
Oh yeah.
Comparatively to, thousands, a 5080, at the minimum, you're going to spend like $1,100, and that's for like
minimum just for the card. Yeah, man. What? Yeah. So I looked. I priced them. I think $3,200 for a system with the 380 in it.
Yeah,
was what I priced. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think comparatively to that, spending $400 or $500 on a Series X, whatever, that's got a little upgraded hardware, I think that's where we're going to see
the biggest
more
growth.
of that effect. Is we'll see more interest in console and people trying, like we said, trying to make it accessible. Which I think, and that's another reason I think it's silly as developers not to make an effort to support that if it's reasonably possible.
Absolutely, within reason.
It grows our industry. That means means more potential income, which means more of an incentive to develop high fidelity stuff. It means bigger communities, bigger fly-ins, bigger online networks, more VAs. We all benefit when we make it more accessible.
Absolutely. And you remember, Charlie, that's why I was mentioning way back when, bro, when 2020 first dropped, everybody was like, oh, the console, consoles, this and that. I'm like, hey guys, you have to think like we're expanding the market.
Yes.
Hundreds upon thousands of
tens
users.
of millions.
Yes, tens of millions. So what's good for the goose? It's good for the gander. You're right.
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it because that opens up this hobby and continues to inspire folks like my 9-year-old son, right? He's not everybody's gonna have a $2,000 or $3,000 rig to run all this.
Correct.
Get them a Series S.
Or PS5 now.
Or PS5.
I can't wait to see the PS5 controller is objectively better than the Xbox controller, and I will die on this hill.
Yes,
I'll be right beside you.
Me and you both. Me and you both, man.
We'll
I actually
arms.
locked arms, bro. Yeah, because I actually did try 2024 on the PS5.
Do you have the Pro?
It's pretty solid. No, I got the regular
the
edition.
that's what I got.
But even for me, man, the frame, it wasn't bad. It was not a bad experience. And just to see it on your living room TV. Oh my gosh, man.
That's cool. Hop in. Oh man.
It was just amazing.
Seeing that.
Yeah.
Like a photo of somebody in their living room hanging out with their friends, flying the MD, drinking a couple of adult beverages after work.
Oh yeah,
that would be insane. That's something that people might actually be doing.
Absolutely, cool. Absolutely. And so I'm just, man, I am, because I'm gonna be honest. I kind of felt a little felt the way as well when I was like, wait a minute, 2020 is going to console. I'm talking 2020, no 2024, but I'm like, wait a minute, 2020 is going to console gamers. I'm like, what? Where are they going? What? But then it's just like, I just sit back and think. I'm like, man, how many consoles are there out there, right?
And isn't it free?
Well, they
with
gave
Game
us numbers.
Pass?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good question, Colin. What's the? I mean, what are we looking like in terms of market size?
I think they said there was something to the order of 10 million active Xbox users. Now, not all flight simmers,
sure,
but 10 million active users, and apparently they say the PS5 audience is triple. Again, not all flight simmers. But
even a small percentage of that.
But you think about it, again, from a commercial standpoint, if you think you got a potential reach of 40 million people, if 1% of them are flight simmers, that's 4 million people right there.
4 million people.
Or no, sorry, that's 400,000.
400,000.
But we know that it's higher than that. Microsoft has said, I think the average of like combined simmers is higher than that. I think it's in the millions. So marketplace on the consoles is enormously expanding the industry, which has its own pluses and minuses.
And minuses, sure.
Anywhere you provide an opportunity to sell to millions of people, you also provide an opportunity for people who don't respect the craft to squeeze money quickly.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to leave it at that. I know
You've seen that. Yep.
We've all seen it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the kind of negative underside to, make it accessible, widen the market. It also means that now, somebody who's just in it for money, who would have previously went, no, that's not worth it, it's too much effort, now might look at it and go, oh, I can pump out a low quality product with some decent marketing, quickly. And simmers who aren't hardcore flight simmers may not immediately be able to tell the difference. And that's what I worry about.
Man, let me get this CRJ 200, put this Cessna 172 panel in it, bro. Send it. We're good.
That's it.
And that
$15.
That does a disservice to everybody, because then the consumer is cautious to spend money on the actual quality products because they've been burned before. The developers now struggle to, again, like us, we don't have Lamborghinis. I don't live in a 9-bedroom mansion of a house.
Exactly.
we do.
Where's your Falcon 50?
Oh man,
Oh no,
that would be amazing. I've joked about this for the longest time. I say to our guys at work sometimes, none of us became professional flight sim developers to get rich. Like,
Absolutely.
yes, when you make a AAA product that is very well received, it does make money. Of course, it does.
For sure.
We don't pretend that it doesn't.
No,
But it doesn't make Jeff Bezos money. None of us are ever going to be in the 1% from flight sim. So, and I think as a result of that, that's kind of kept a lot of the money grab kind of stuff out of our industry.
right.
Like the bigger
right.
it gets, the more appealing it becomes for people who do see it as a dollar sign and not as an investment into a hobby, into a passion even.
Spot on. I mean, I kid on that Falcon 50, but at the same time, in a way, I kind of feel proud at the same time because again, when you see, and we're not going to mention the developer, even though I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. When you see, the developer start off from, Fly Unlimited, and then, boom, here he is in the Falcon 50, and and of course, there's some commercial, business as well that happens there. I think it's cool. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I think it's cool, to see. I think, again, I think a lot of their products is what got me into aviation. Reason
Likewise,
why I went for my, went for my licenses, and I mean, it's almost like kind of like that mentor figure, it's like
if there's no NGX, there's no half of the products that are out there now.
No, absolutely
there's a huge
not.
section of our market that exists because they said, hey, look, this is what it can be like, and expanded the horizons.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I just, I'll never forget. I had the opportunity to shake his hand at Expo in Houston. I mean, he was running. He had his entourage, man. But I just ran out there. Yeah. Oh, he's busy, dude. He was like, he was like, if he was bald, like you would have like probably mistaken him from Jeff Bezos or something, because he had like a little group of folks around him. I mean, I don't know, I don't even know. Listen to this, but I'm gonna pick on him. Had a little group around him. I was like, hey, I just wanted to shake your hand, and this that, but for that was like me shaking the hand of like Troy Aikman or like somebody like that, because he legit, dude, your stuff legit got me to dropping that, that money, and getting in the aviation, and I mean, kind of like shape. And I had a way in shape me to where I'm at today, and that's there's something to be said. So like we give them a lot of grief on the show, like, and I say grief, but it's just like maybe being a little critical, but it's just because, man, we love you. I mean, like you're. It's just like this industry, as big as it's gotten, is still fairly small. So you almost kind of look, especially when you go to Expo, and if you guys haven't had the opportunity to go to Expo again, as we've mentioned, you
definitely should.
It really feels like you're in a big family. And I think for me, I mean, it just really kind of solidified, like, wow, I made the right decision in putting, all of our time and effort into this hobby. And I think Colin, I think we met at Expo in Houston as well, had the opportunity to.
I think so,
and it was amazing. So I mean, we always, get you guys, we always pick on PMDG, but it's literally, it's like one of those sayings where, like, if you don't, if I don't like you, I'm not going to pick on you, right? Something like that.
Well, that's it. And it's, and I can tell you again, I don't think we're quite at PMDG's level of notoriety, but I can tell you expect criticism too. If you're going to put yourself out there and be a public figure, and be a company that sells to a notoriously picky hobby, you kind of know that you're going to get criticism, and it's expected. Again, like we kind of touched on earlier, there is a difference between valid criticism and disrespect and pessimism.
Yes,
they're not the same thing. And I've even said about PMDG, like, they have been great to us over the years. They offered to help us back in the day when the 717 first came out, and we were having some issues with like deployments and things. And we even got in touch with them. They gave us their explicit blessing on the MD, and so there was no animosity or kind of because we talked to them. We're like, look, you guys did this. We don't want to fight you because we're gonna lose that fight just in terms of momentum alone. If they're 2 years into it with everything they knew at the time, and we're starting from scratch, we're going to lose this fight. So that was half of it. And then the other half is I wanted to be respectful because I'm not real big on stepping on toes.
For sure.
Burning bridges, exactly.
And they're the GOATs, man. There's like, hey, you know, it's like,
and like you said, and kind of like my thing with True Glass, I remember being inspired by what they did long before I ever touched my first line of aircraft code. I was inspired by the kind of work that they did. And it, you know, no matter where we end up as an industry, no matter where we end up as a company, I'll never forget that looking again at him giving that speech for the 777 way probably 12 years ago now, way back then. That was some of the stuff that inspired me to want to do what we do now. Now, of course, we've all changed course since then, and the industry's changed 10 times, and it'll change 10 more. But
probably by tomorrow.
The way we're going, if you had told me 10 years ago that this is the kind of the things we'd have, and this is what the industry would be like these days, I wouldn't believe you.
You're crazy.
Exactly.
I wouldn't believe you.
Crazy.
I mean, hell, P3D was like cutting edge, next level then, and now,
man.
And now we have a whole different landscape.
No, it's like the.
You know what's funny? Like, you know what's funny? Like, you know, you'll see like some P3D posts still in some of the forums, and
every now and again,
yeah, and you're like, really?
Well,
I Microsoft 24.
So we quick build for P3D because the new licenses don't support it, but the old ones did, and I was still testing P3D, and I looked at it and I'm like, there was a time when I would have looked at this and been like, wow. This is it. I can't wait to do this. And now I'm looking at it like, God, I can't wait to close it and go back to 24.
Yeah.
And it's again, the perspective change there for me is just it makes, you know, the MD-11 was especially personal for me because throughout the duration of that, I went at one point, I moved 3 times and I went from single to married with a child on the way throughout the course of that process.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. And
awesome.
So like for me to look at when the MD started was before 2020 was even a thing. And to see how much of my own life has changed, how much of the industry has changed. I don't know. I get a little nostalgic sometimes thinking about, you know, what it is. And I think about where
that shows your passion, man. That's cool. That's really cool.
I don't mention it too much, but the sound effects make me laugh. I'm a wedding DJ. That's one of my side hobbies, and all the sound effects made me think of like accidentally hitting the air horn button trying to do something else. And,
and we're terrible at it at that.
The latency doesn't help. Because it's got to be like right on cue, and when it's just a little bit late, it feels totally weird.
Feels it, yeah, like totally awkward. But like we're all about awkward here in CTP. But yeah, no, you're spot on, Colin. Now this man, and it was funny. It's like the older you get, the worse the worse the nostalgia hits, and it's just like, man, I remember these days, and you know, and now you think I gave Leonardo their flowers with the MD-80. They just recently released a MD-80 update. Just brought it. They brought it. They brought it in 24 as well, and just looks amazing, man. I remember, gosh, man, 2D panels. I remember when this was like, man, this maybe like 20 years ago now. They dropped it. And they just was starting testing with the virtual cockpit, and it brought my poor PC to its knee. I'm talking like one frame. It was terrible. Yep. Oh my gosh, man! But it looked so good. Ooh, back then, man. I think, man, what did I have? Oh, I forget how many. But we were talking like megs of RAM back then, dude.
Yeah, 128 megabytes of RAM.
Ooh, and that was a rig back then, Charlie. Like, if you had 128. You were good, bro. I don't even think I had that like 64 or something crazy, but. You know, like looking like fast forward to it now, and you're seeing that, and it's just, oh man, it's what a time we're in now. What a time we're in. But man, no, Colin, again, guys, congratulations on the release. We absolutely love what you guys are doing. I'm sure whatever you guys are planning, we're gonna love that as well. And you know, definitely looking forward to, you know, any future releases you guys have also. So Charlie, man, as far you always do it. I was kidding. Man, no, as far as Flight Sim news, guys, I want to touch on a couple of things. Again, Flight Sim Expo right around the corner. I know I've
literally
Yeah, literally. You know, you guys are gonna get sick of me talking about it, but I want you guys there. I want to meet.
You should
Want to
go.
meet. Yeah,
The
I
more
want to
people
meet.
that go, the better it is for everybody.
Yes,
That's
I want to
right.
meet you guys. For sure. I want to give a shout out to our Patreon backers as well. Definitely thank you guys for your support. Um, man, we literally would not be here. Like the missus would not allow it, without you guys. So definitely appreciate the support. If you guys want to check us out on Patreon. Make sure you guys just subscribe to all of our socials, list you name it, we're probably on that. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok,
X.
Charlie, something maybe. X, yeah, we're on X. Man, yeah, you name it, we're probably on it. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Also, I want to give a shout out to all our partners as well. Of course, good friends over at TFDI, our main man over there, High Performance, Steve. Steve, I think when I mentioned Steve, I think about Steve and Jerry Springer. So I'm like, Steve from back in the day. But yeah,
talk about nostalgia, Jerry Springer.
Oh man, woo, taking it back, bro.
I think I used
Funniest
to
one.
watch that.
Girl
my
hit him
grandmother
right in
had
the
it on.
head.
What was that? Call it?
Sorry, I didn't mean to bulldoze you there.
No, you're good,
go
man.
ahead.
I said I think I remember coming home from school, and I think my grandmother would have Jerry Springer on.
Oh, that was a show, man. Yeah, like that midday.
You got to get home to watch Jerry Springer. No, I can't go ride the bike, boys. I got Springer to watch. Granny gone bad today.
Oh, God, bring it back. Talk about bringing back nostalgia, man.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's man, good old Springer. But shout out to our friends over there at EFS, man. With their 737 sim, definitely check them out there. Man, flight sim news wise, man, that's all I really have. And there's been a couple of releases in terms of scenery. Want to give a shout out to our man over at over on the X-Plane side, or our good friend Lee with his release of the Birmingham scenery.
Yeah,
definitely check it out there for the X-Plane users, which they got a pretty solid, that flight factor 777, man. I think it's pretty freaking solid. So definitely check him out there. And man, am I missing anything, Charlie? Besides, the old football season's over.
not yet. At least for me.
Well, what's over for y'all, ain't it?
Well, national championships Monday, so that's my end of football season. NFL, man.
Yeah, it's my NFL team's out, so it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah,
we'll keep going. But maybe next season. But yeah, man. Charlie, any closing thoughts for the audience, fam?
Man, I got nothing. I think we got everything. Appreciate Colin for joining us, and great show.
Heck yeah.
It's always an honor to get to have a chance to get personal and talk about some of this stuff.
Absolutely.
I always appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Yep. I was gonna give old Colin the closing thoughts there, man. You sure anything else for the audience? Any new releases there, or new
oh man.
717.
I pick.
Oh man, I see if I you know what, it might even work. So I got this new Stream Deck thing, or not Stream Deck, the Go XLR things. If I do this, I have a sensor button. The urge to just like, oh yes, our next one is, and then just censor the whole thing. Because the lip readers out there will still figure it out if I say actual words.
Oh man,
they would. Do you hear? All right, so if I do this, I'm just gonna tap it. Do you hear this?
Yeah, I heard a beep.
Yeah. Okay, because I have I don't really use that feature very often, but I like this thing for the chat mix and everything. But I have that. Oh man, no. In terms of the biggest thing I could say is kind of everybody that listens, how much it means to all of us that we get to do this full time. We love creating experiences for the pilots and our users, and to get to do that as a full-time job is, I mean, I use job lightly because we all love what we do. We have such a relaxed environment that we get to have because we work in an industry that allows it, where although it's very serious, it's about having a good time being serious. And that's such an amazing thing. And to get to see some of the things that have been said about the MD this week, it makes the long nights and the
oh Lord, just ignore her.
yeah. Well, I'll keep it short then. I'll keep it short. It makes all the long nights and difficult days and hours debugging things feel worth it when we get to see it called stuff like that, where, you know, we're at like 4.89 stars on Contrail right now, and it's seeing videos. We've seen real airline pilots flying it and having a great time. We've seen, you know, notorious critics of, you know, AAA aircraft coming up short of things to really complain about. And it's such an amazing feeling, and we're grateful that the community had the patience with us to do it and contributed as much as they did, because without the feedback from the collector's edition, the QA and community mods, who are volunteers, by the way, these are people who have signed up voluntarily to help us with this. Without them, it would not be anywhere near what it is. So I hope to get us being as transparent as we are and being as fair at the pricing, and it feels like it's us doing our part because the community has more than done theirs. So I intend to continue doing that, and I look forward to hopefully impressing and continuing to raise the bar with what we do in the future. And I think you guys will all very much enjoy it. So from all of us, I just want to say thank you for supporting us and letting us have the best release of our careers.
Absolutely. And again, once again, you know, thank you for blessing us with you guys' creativity for sure. Man, as always, Colin, thank you for coming on, my friend. You know, our platform is always open to you. Definitely thank you. Thank you guys for chiming in. Thank you, Miss Carla, for your patience. We're gonna get Charlie to you here shortly. Again,
hey, she's got car keys in a wallet. I don't know why she's waiting on me.
You know what? Don't pay me mine. But yes, once again, thank you, CTP family. Thank you guys for chiming in. We'll see you guys on the other side. Keep the blue side up. We'll see it. Thanks.
Take care.
Take care, everyone.